Right, we'll discuss polity related questions which came in the final mock test. In the context of India, which of the following principles are implied institutionally in parliamentary government? See, this parliamentary government is a very, very important topic which is repeatedly asked in the UPSC prelims examination. So the features of parliamentary government is the most important or one of the most important topic. Features of parliamentary government. Be very, very straightforward when you think. Most of the time you think in a very, very uh, uh, confused way. Simple thinking will give you answer for many of the questions. Simple straightforward thinking. No zigzag thinking. இது நான் அப்படியா அப்படின்னா நீங்க என்ன சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் லாயரா இல்ல தானே? நம்ம we are student. UPSC also knows this, that they are not asking this question to Ramjat Malani. They are asking questions to those students who have not studied polity in their UG or PG. So questions, the basic things, you have to be very strong so that you'll be able to give the answer. Parliamentary government na enna? அவ்வளவுதான். Parliamentary government na government which comes from parliament. அவ்வளவுதானே? From the word itself you derive government which is coming from parliament. So the government, that is the members of the cabinet or the members of the parliament. Yes or no? Government which is coming from parliament. Ministers hold office till they enjoy confidence in the parliament. You should not think in this way, sir. In Article 75, we have this ministerial responsibility. We have this ministerial responsibility in Article 75. Individually, ministers are responsible only to the president. Collectively, they are responsible to the lower house. Here it is parliament, but it is lower house here. So the answer is wrong. What is asked? Parliamentary government, not Indian parliamentary government. புரியுதுல? இந்த மாதிரி generica if they are asking, give generic answer. Specifically if they are asking, give specific answer. இது ஜெனரிக்கான கொஸ்டின். பார்லிமெண்டரி கவர்மெண்ட்ல என்ன? கவர்மெண்ட் த்ரோயிங் ஆர் கவர்மெண்ட் இஸ் தி சைல்ட் ஆஃப் தி பார்லிமெண்ட். அப்ப மதர் இஸ் கிவிங் பர்த் டு தி சைல்ட் அண்ட் சைல்ட் இஸ் ஆன்சரபிள் டு தி மதர். அவ்வளவுதானே? திஸ் இஸ் ரைட். இதுல லோக்சபாவா ராஜ்யசபாவா இல்ல, அப்படி போயிடாதீங்க. இது கரெக்டா? எஸ். தி கேபினட் இஸ் ஹெட்டட் பை தி ஹெட் ஆஃப் தி ஸ்டேட். பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் தானே? Head of the status or head of the government. Cabinet is headed by the head of the government. யார் head of the government? Prime Minister. Head of the stateங்கிறது president. ஆனா யூபிஎஸ்சில இந்த மாதிரி சிம்பிளான கொஸ்டின் கேட்டிருப்பான். இதுக்கு ரொம்ப குழப்பமா இருக்கும். ஹெட் ஆஃப் தி ஸ்டேட், ஸ்டேட்டோட ஹெட், இப்படிலாம் 10 தடவை தெரிஞ்சதையே திரும்ப திரும்ப யோசிப்போம். தெரிஞ்சதையே திரும்ப திரும்ப யோசிக்கும் போது தெரியாத விஷயங்கள் மைண்டுக்குள்ள வந்து கன்ஃபியூஸ் பண்ணும். சிம்பிளா இருக்கும். கொஸ்டின் பேப்பரை விட்டுட்டு கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் எடுத்துட்டு எக்ஸாம் ஆளுக்கு வெளியில வந்தோடனே எல்லாமே புரியும். உள்ள வச்சு தெரிஞ்சது கூட குழப்பமா இருக்கும். அப்ப இதுக்கு தான் ஐ டோல்ட் அபவுட் ஸ்டேட் ஆஃப் மைண்ட். ஃப்ரீயா இருந்தீங்கன்னு வைங்களேன், இந்த ஒன்லைன்ல இருந்து தூக்கிடலாம். கவர்மெண்ட் கமிங் ஃப்ரம் பார்லிமெண்ட். ஸோ இது தப்பு தானே? அப்ப ஆன்சர் என்ன? 1 and 2 only. 1 and 2 only is the right answer. Go to the next question. This is there in most of the trends, in most of the recent years of question paper, the area where there is a conflict, you should know as a student. Or foreign service ki you are going to be eligible for. Appo you should know the conflicting areas or the regions in the world. கேட்டாங்களா இல்லையா? லாஸ்ட் இயர் அதுக்கு முன்னாலெல்லாம் கேட்டாங்க. சக்மா ரிபலியன் அது இதெல்லாம் கேட்டாங்களா இல்லையா? ரோஹிங்கியாஸ். அப்போ ரீஜன் or people. Darfur is a place in எங்க? சூடான் தானே? Darfur is what? Darfur crisis, Sudan. South Sudan became an independent country in 2011. It became a new country. Sudan got separated into two. One is Sudan, another is South Sudan. South Sudan inhabited by Christians, Sudan controlled by Muslims. If a river Nile is flowing through South Sudan to Egypt, Egypt munale river Nile is flowing through South Sudan, which is why South Sudan becomes a very fertile place where there is so much of oil wealth present because of river Nile. So therefore, wherever resources are present, the people, the native people of those places, they are not given entitlement over their own resources. Definitely it is going to create conflict, right? அந்த மண்ணுல உள்ளவங்களுக்கு அந்த மண்ணோட வளத்துல ஷேர் இல்ல, துரத்தி விடுறான்னா பிரச்சனை வருதுன்னு அர்த்தம். அதுதான் சூடான். டார்ஃபர்ங்கிறது சூடான்ல உள்ள கிரைசிஸ். ஜஞ்சாவித் மிலிஷியா அப்படின்னு ஒரு மிலிஷியா உண்டு, உள்ள போயிட்டே இருக்கும் கதை. ஜஸ்டிஸ் அண்ட் ஈக்வாலிட்டி மூவ்மெண்ட்னு ஒரு குரூப், சூடான் லிபரேஷன் ஃப்ரண்ட் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு குரூப். ஜஸ்டிஸ் அண்ட் ஈக்வாலிட்டி மூவ்மெண்ட், சூடான் லிபரேஷன் ஃப்ரண்ட் ரெண்டு பேரும் சேர்ந்து இந்த சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட் கண்ட்ரோல்டு பை முஸ்லிம்ஸ் எதிர்க்கிறாங்க வித் தி சப்போர்ட் ஆஃப் அமெரிக்கா. ஏன்னா இவங்கெல்லாம் கிறிஸ்டியன்ஸ். அப்போ வெளியில இருந்து பார்க்கும்போது இட் இஸ் எ ஃபைட் பிட்வீன் டூ ரிலீஜியன்ஸ், கிறிஸ்டியானிட்டி முஸ்லிம். ஆனா உள்ள போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரிசோர்ஸ் கான்ஃபிளிக்ட். கான்ஃபிளிக்ட நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும்? இன்டர்நேஷனலைஸ் பண்ணணும். கான்ஃபிளிக்ட நீங்க இன்டென்சிஃபை பண்ணணும்னா ஒரு ஐடென்டிட்டி தேவை, அடையாளம் தேவை. ஈஸி ஐடென்டிட்டி என்ன? ரிலீஜியன் தான். இன்னைக்கு சண்டை போடணும்னா ரிலீஜியன் போதும். ஸோ இதுதான் பிரச்சனை. சூடான்ல சொமாலியா கிடையாது, டைக்ரே எத்தியோப்பியா, ரொஜாவா ரெவல்யூஷன் சிரியா, வெஸ்ட் சிரியாவை வெஸ்டர்ன் பார்ட்டுக்கு வெஸ்டர்ன் குர்திஸ்தான் அப்படிங்கிறாங்க. சிரியால வெஸ்டர்ன் குர்திஸ்தான் people went for the Rojava revolution or Rojava revolution. அப்ப இது சிரியால இருக்கக்கூடிய கான்ஃபிளிக்டிங் ஏரியா. எத்தியோப்பியா, எரிட்ரியா both are together fighting against the rebellion people of Tigray, fighting against the Ethiopian and Eritrean government. So இது கரெக்ட், இது கரெக்ட். தப்பான பேர் என்ன? ஒன் தான். ஸோ ஆன்சர் என்ன? எத்தனை பேர் கரெக்ட்? 2 பேர்ஸ் கரெக்ட். ஃபண்டமெண்டல் டியூட்டி எப்பவுமே ரீட் பண்ணும்போது கரெக்டா நாட் கரெக்டான்னு பாத்துக்கோங்கப்பா, கண்ணை மறைச்சிரும். அதனால பி கேர்ஃபுல். கரெக்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்டா ராங் ஸ்டேட்மெண்டா? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யூ ஷுட் கரெக்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் ரிகார்டிங் வாட்? டியூட்டி ப்ரொவைடட் பை லாவா, கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன். அப்ப சோர்ஸ் ப்ரொவைடட் பைனா சோர்ஸ் என்ன சோர்ஸ்ங்கிறத டிஃபால்ட்டா பார்க்கணும், கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன். அப்ப ஐ வில் ரீட் திஸ் क्वेश्चन based on what is written in the text of the constitution. So it is narrowing my thinking. முன்னால பார்லிமெண்டரி கவர்மெண்ட்ங்கிறது இட் broadens my thinking. இங்க எனக்கு நேரோ பண்ண சொல்லுது, ஏன்னா கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ல இருக்குது டியூட்டி. அப்ப I will read only constitution to find the answer for this question. Fundamental duties were added by 42nd amendment, correct? By inserting 10 new articles. ஒரே ஒரு ஆர்டிகிள் தான், 10 provisions, not 10 articles. Article number is same, no? 51 is the article. Only if you say 51 to 60, 10 articles. Only one article was added, so this is wrong. Duty to pay tax was not recommended by, it was recommended by Swaran Singh committee but not added by parliament. Ulta, wrong. After its inclusion it was amended only once, correct? 86th amendment act. Fundamental duties extend to all normal, it is only for citizens. Residents includes foreigners also. Residents includes citizen only, because resident includes foreigner. So answer enna? C is the right answer. Go to the next question. Two party system na enna? Normala some questions are against our common sense. Even in America or Britain, there are present more parties, but the main players are two. அதனால தான் today also India is closely following bi-party system. Either you be with BJP or you go against BJP. There is no concept called as third front. It's Congress versus BJP. Howsoever insignificant or weak Congress is, 2024 is Congress versus BJP or BJP versus Congress. அதனால தான் they are trying to test the compatibility today. கர்நாடகா ஸ்வியரிங் இன் செரிமனில நீ வா ஏதாவது பண்ணுவோம் பாருப்பா அப்படின்னு. Polarization. So two main players will be there. Several parties may exist, but only two parties will dominate the landscape. இது கிடையாது ரெண்டு பேர் தான் இருக்கிறான், ஒருத்தர் ரூலிங் ஒருத்தர், அது கிடையாது. Public Account Committee is the oldest committee, correct, 1922. On a largest committee, Department Related Standing Committee, which has 31 members, or Estimates Committee, which has maximum 30 members. இது தப்பு தானே? ஆனா ஒரு ஃப்ளோல ஓல்டஸ்ட்னா லார்ஜஸ்ட், அக்பர்னா பீர்பால், இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம மைண்ட் டியூன் ஆயிருக்கும். அதனாலதான் I told repeatedly, I tell you, it is only a mind test, a mind game. It has members from both houses of parliament. இது கரெக்ட் தானே? 15+7. Committee submits a report to Speaker of Lok Sabha. அதுவும் கரெக்ட். 2 and 3. Pursuant to the report, CVC பத்தி கேக்குறோம். Sandhanam Committee resolution correct. Can investigate the case. Investigation body is CBI. CVC is not investigation body. CVC is not an investigation body. It is CBI that is investigation body. அவங்க இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணக்கூடாது சிவிசி. சிபிஐ கொடுக்குற இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் வச்சு சிவிசி ஆக்ஷன் எடுப்பாங்க. அப்ப இதுல என்ன நடக்கும்? நம்ம நார்மலா படிக்கும்போது இன்வெஸ்டிகேஷன் தானே, அப்படி அது இல்ல. சரியா? அப்ப இது தப்பு. சிவிசி இஸ் தி காம்பிடன்ட் அத்தாரிட்டி அண்டர் திஸ் ஆக்ட். அது கரெக்ட் தானே? அப்படி இல்லைன்னா அவங்க எதுக்கு? அப்ப ஆன்சர் என்ன? 1 and 3 only. A very big refugee camp called Kakuma, often seen in the news, is located in எப்பவுமே one understanding you should have that wherever there is present problem, there will not be camp. Refugee camp will not be in the place of conflict. Refugee camp will be in some other place. Okay, so the place of conflict is not the place of refugee camp. Actually 2007 they asked this question, which is why I keep on telling people to read at least 15 years of UPSC prelims question paper. 2007 largest camp, UN Human Rights Commission is setting up a refugee camp in Kenya. Okay, there was a camp which was asked in 2007 UPSC prelims examination about this Dadaab camp. It already asked PYQ 2007 question. A refugee camp is UPSC question. The largest refugee camp is Dadaab in Kenya, and this is the second largest. To house the people in this conflicting zones. இந்த இடத்துல கான்ஃபிளிக்ட் நடக்குது, அதுல இருக்கக்கூடிய ரெஃப்யூஜிஸ இந்த கேம்ப்ல கென்யால ஹோஸ்ட் பண்றாங்க UN High Commissioner for Refugees. And in 2021 also there was a question on refugee. Yes or no? Refugee based question 2021ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க, 2007ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க, 2021லயும் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. பிடி கேட்டாங்களா இல்லையா? BD was asked in 2021 PYQ refugee camp. They were asking in the statement, this Bidi refugee camp is present in northwest Kenya. Answer is wrong. Statement is wrong. It is not present in northwest Kenya. It is present in Uganda. So the dimension is this: the camp in which country? Kenya is the answer. President can promulgate ordinance 1, 2, 3 when one or both houses are not in session. Modify, repeal any act cannot be issued to amend the constitution. Decision of president can be questioned by the court. Cooper case, RC Cooper case, 1970. It can be questioned. What is the situation? What are the circumstances which led to you going for ordinance route? சொல்லு அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க court. What circumstances prevailed because of which you went for ordinance? You should explain. The central government will have to explain. So I will question you. I am Supreme Court. You are government. It said, the court said in 1970 case, RC Cooper case. So this is wrong. Answer therefore is 1, 2 and 3. இதுப்பா எங்க பாருங்க? ஆமா, ஒன் ஆர் போத். கரெக்ட் தானே. ஒன் ஆஃப் தி போத்னா ஒன் தானே. ஒன் ஆஃப் தி போத்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? ஒன் ஆஃப் தி டூனா ஒண்ணுன்னு தானே அர்த்தம். ரெண்டுல ஒண்ணு. When ordinance either one or both houses of parliament not there, then you go for 1, 2, 3 ordinance. President can promulgate ordinance when one of the two houses is not in session. Either one or both. அப்ப நம்ம என்ன நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கிறோம்? ரெண்டு ஹவுஸ் இல்லைனாதான். அப்படி இல்லையே. ஒரு ஹவுஸ் இல்லைன்னா கூட ஆர்டினன்ஸ் வந்துடும். Deliberately you can prorogue the house to make an ordinance which is not unjust use of power, provided there is a reason for ordinance. ஆர்டினன்ஸ் மேக் பண்றதுக்காகவே ஒரு ஹவுஸ நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம்? ப்ரோராக் பண்ணலாம். செஷனை எண்ட் பண்ணி விட்டுறலாம் ஆர்டினன்ஸ்க்காக. அது தப்பானா தப்பு கிடையாது. ஏன்னா லா பண்ணணும்னா வருஷ கணக்காகும். இமீடியட்டா ஒரு லா வேணும். குயிக் ரூட் என்ன? குயிக் ஃபிக்ஸ் சொல்யூஷன் ஆர்டினன்ஸ். அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் they are having a check and balance. ஏன் நீ கொண்டு வந்த? you are making this ordinance into a bill. அந்த பில்லுல in the preface of the bill you have to explain why you went for ordinance. What are the compelling reasons for which you went for ordinance? One or both house அப்படிதானப்பா. அப்போ one or both, ஒன்னா இருக்கலாம், ரெண்டா கூட இருக்கலாம். புரியுது இல்ல? அப்போ 1, 2, 3 தான். Union territories have no representation in the Council of State. தப்பு தானே? Article 80 clause 2ல என்ன சொல்றாங்க? It is mentioned in the 4th schedule. In the 4th schedule, what is there? In the 4th schedule, seat given to Delhi, Pondicherry. Delhi 3 seats, Pondicherry 1 seat. Rajya Sabha seat. So, no representation is wrong. Provides for Article 239 AA, which was inserted by 61st Amendment Act, very clearly says only legislative assembly. It does not say legislative council, only assembly. So this is right. Answer is 2 only. Doubt edu irundhuchuna you can stop me. Heart and soul தூக்கத்துல தட்டி எழுப்பி who told Article 32 is heart and soul அப்படின்னா மகாத்மா காந்தின்னு சொல்லிடக்கூடாது. சொல்றாரு டாக்டர் அம்பேத்கர், it gives teeth to biteங்கிறார். It gives teeth to bite. அப்படி இல்லைன்னா வேஸ்ட் சொல்றாரு. 32 இல்ல, if article 32 is not there, the fundamental rights which we have given is not even worth the paper on which it is written. என்ன சொல்றாரு? If 32 is not there, then the fundamental rights which we have given in part 3 is not even worth the paper on which it is written. அந்த பேப்பர் இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, அந்த பேப்பரோட வேல்யூ கூட அந்த ரைட்டுக்கு இருக்கு. 9th schedule எப்ப வந்துச்சு? 31B was inserting 9th schedule and this happened in 1951 by first amendment act. There was a question asked, under whose prime ministership this was inserted? 1951ல யாரு பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர்? நரேந்திர மோடியா? ஜவஹர்லால் நேரு தானே. இதுக்கு யூபிஎஸ்சி கொஸ்டினா கேட்டாங்க. யூபிஎஸ்சி கொஸ்டினா கேட்டாங்க. தேவிலால் 3 தடவை ஜெயிச்சாருன்னு கேட்டாங்க. தேவிலால்கிட்ட போய் கேட்டு பார்த்துட்டேன், அவருக்கே தெரியல. ஆனா தேவிலால் இல்லாமலே ஆன்சர் வந்துருச்சு. 2 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னால கேட்டாங்களாப்பா. தேவிலால் won from this constituency 3 times in Lok Sabha election. தேவிலாலுக்கே மறந்துருச்சுப்பா, ஏன்னா தேவிலாலே இல்லையே. செக் பண்ணி பாக்குறேன், எங்கெல்லாமோ போய் செக் பண்ணி பாக்குறேன், இதுல பாக்குறேன் அதுல பாக்குறேன், எந்த இதுலயும் சோர்ஸ்லயும் ஆன்சர் இல்லை. எலெக்ஷன் கமிஷன் போய் தனியா கேட்டு ஆர்டிஐ ஆக்ட ஃபைல் பண்ணி நீங்க ஆன்சரை வாங்குறதுக்குள்ள 2 ப்ரிலிம்ஸ் முடிஞ்சிடும். ஆனா அதெல்லாம் ட்ராப். அது இல்லாமலே ஆன்சர் இருக்குது. அந்த சான்யால் கமிட்டி இல்லாமலே ஆன்சர் வர்ற மாதிரி தேவிலால் 4 தடவை ஜெயிச்சாரு 5 தடவை ஜெயிச்சாருன்னு இல்லாமலே ஆன்சர் வந்துருச்சு. நம்ம ஆளு என்ன பண்றான்? தேவிலாலா? முதல்ல அவர் யாருன்னே தெரியல. இவரு எப்ப ஜெயிச்சாரு, இவர் எத்தனை சீட்ல ஜெயிச்சாரு, தேவையில்லைன்ற. ரைட்? அப்ப இது என்ன? ஆடட். இது கரெக்ட். only parliament, and அது கரெக்ட் தானே? parliament only can put the law in the 9th schedule. porcupine strategy. porcupine என்ன தெரியுமா? முள்ளம்பன்றி. ஒரு வீடியோல கூட பார்த்திருப்பீங்க. ஒரு டைகர் இஸ் ஃபைட்டிங் வித் தி திஸ் porcupine. டைகரா சீட்டாவா? சீட்டா நினைக்கிறேன். சீட்டா இஸ் ஃபைட்டிங் வித் தி porcupine. கொஞ்ச நேரம் கழிச்சு சீட்டா அமைதியா வீட்டை பார்க்க போக ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு. பார்த்தா எல்லா பாடி ஃபுல்லா முள்ளா இருக்குது. அப்படியே போகுது. பக்கத்துல வந்ததே தப்பு. அந்த மாதிரிங்கிறாரு யாரு? தைவான் லீடர்ஷிப் சைனா கிட்ட. more damage will be caused by me to you, as this porcupine caused damage to the cheetah which attacked porcupine. Taiwan says this. tenure of Lok Sabha. சொல்லுங்க ஆன்சர். simple. first sitting is the starting point of the 5-year term. Lok Adalat, like civil court, non-statutory. No. Legal Services Authority Act 1987 created this, so it is a statutory body. No appeal can lie because it is based on mutual consult. Orders given, it can be not be appealed. It cases pending before any court, not just Supreme Court exempted. Any court, cases pending before any court, you can go to Lok Adalat. So this is also wrong. Answer is therefore 1 and 3. ப்ரீலிட்டிகேஷன் என்ன? ப்ரீலிட்டிகேஷனுக்கு போலாம், பெண்டிங் கேசஸும் போலாம். ஏன்னா சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டோ ஹை கோர்ட்டோ கேஸ் எடுத்து போப்பா லோக் அதாலத்தை போய் முடிச்சுக்கோப்பா போ அப்படின்னு நம்மளை தள்ளி விட்டுறலாம். ஆனா வராதுங்கிறதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் இஸ் டெல்லிங் go to லோக் அதாலத். small thing, go to லோக் அதாலத், then the case will come to லோக் அதாலத். அதாவது அப்பீல் கிடையாதுங்கிறது லோக் அதாலத் ஆக்ட்ல இருக்குது. நீங்க எப்படி மீன் பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னா, அப்ப சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட்டை விட லோக் அதாலத் பெருசான்னு கேட்கக்கூடாது. சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட் இஸ் ஹேவிங் பவர், எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரி பவர் அண்டர் 142. எந்த கேஸனாலும் தொட்டுறலாம் சுப்ரீம் கோர்ட். ஏன்னா ரெண்டர் கம்ப்ளீட் ஜஸ்டிஸ். இதுல கூட delimitation actல it is very clearly mentioned that the delimitation order cannot be challenged before any court. அப்ப text of the provision prevails. What you should not interpret is it will not lie against the Supreme Court. It's different. It cannot be tried by any court which is textually present is different. அப்ப நீங்க தியரிட்டிக்கலா ஒரு விஷயத்தை கேட்கறாங்கன்னா தியரிட்டிக்கலா பண்ணணும், பிராக்டிக்கலா அப்ளை பண்ணக்கூடாது. அதுக்காக தான் நான் சொன்னேன் ஜெனரிக்கா இருக்கிறது ஜெனரிக்கா. அப்ப இதோட ஸ்கோப் என்ன? லோக் அதாலத் அவ்வளவு பெரிய ஆளா? இந்த ஃபீல் தானே, அதானே கொஸ்டின் செட்டருக்கு வந்திருக்கும். அதனால தானே அந்த கொஸ்டினா போட்டிருப்பாரு. அவ்வளவு பெரிய ஆளா லோக் அதாலத்? ஆர்டர்லாம் சேலஞ்ச் பண்ணவே முடியாதானே? முடியாது, ஏன்னா லால கொடுத்துருக்கானே 1987. சரியா? அப்ப I tell you that when you have to interpret, when it is not there in the law, then you have to interpret. When it is written black and white will prevail. The text will prevail. அதுல இன்டர்பிரேஷன் அவசியம். அதான் பிளாக் அண்ட் ஒயிட்ல எழுதி இருக்காங்களா, அப்புறம் என்ன இன்டர்பிரேஷன்? அது இல்லைன்னா தான் இன்டர்பிரேஷன். அப்ப if text is there, text will prevail. சரியா? எல்லா கொஸ்டினுக்கும் ஒரு ஸ்கோப் இருக்கும்பா, அது நம்ம புரிஞ்சுக்கிடணும். நாம என்ன எந்த இடத்துல நம்ம பாலிட்டிலயோ இல்ல மத்த சயின்ஸ்ல சோசியல் சயின்ஸ்லயோ தப்பு பண்றோம்னா, அந்த ஸ்கோப் ஆஃப் தி கொஸ்டின் என்னங்கிறதெல்லாம் உங்களால டிஃபைன் பண்ண முடியாது. நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க, அவுட் ஆஃப் தி ஸ்கோப்பா போய் பார்ப்பீங்க. யூ ட்ரை டு டூ சம்திங் விச் இஸ் ஓவர் டூயிங் அ பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். யூ ஓவர் டூ எ பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். யூ ஓவர் திங்க் அபவுட் அ பர்டிகுலர் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். Prevention of concentration of wealth in few hand is a provision present ன்னு கேக்குறாங்க 2021 கொஸ்டின். ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் என்ன வந்து சொல்றாரு, சார் ஆன்சர் என்ன தெரியுமா? என்ன? ரைட் டு ஈக்குவாலிட்டி சார்ன்றாரு. ரைட் டு ஈக்குவாலிட்டி, ஆமா சார். பிரிவென்ஷன் ஆஃப் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் ஆஃப் வெல்த்னா எல்லாரும் சமம் தானே சார், ஈக்குவாலிட்டி தானே சார்ன்றாரு. அப்படி இல்லப்பா, அந்த கண்டெக்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் தி क्वेश्चनனா பிரிவென்ஷன் ஆஃப் கான்சன்ட்ரேஷன் ஆஃப் வெல்த் இன் ஃபியூ ஹேண்ட்ஸ் 39C ல கொடுத்திருக்காங்கப்பா. அத தான் கேக்குறாங்க. டிபிஎஸ்பி தான் ஆன்சர். சார் ஈக்குவாலிட்டிக்கு தானே சார் டிபிஎஸ்பி. ஆமாப்பா கரெக்ட். ஈக்குவாலிட்டி, அப்போ ஈக்குவாலிட்டி இருக்கும்போது ஈக்குவாலிட்டி தானே சார் ஆன்சர். இப்படி மைண்ட் ஒர்க் பண்ணும். மைண்ட் வில் பிளே ட்ரிக் அகைன்ஸ்ட் யூ. நமக்கு எதிரா சதி பண்றது சைனா காரனோ பாகிஸ்தான் காரனோ இல்ல, நாம தான். நம்ம மைண்ட் மாதிரி ஒரு ஜாக்கல் உலகத்திலே யாரும் கிடையாது. எல்லா கன்னிங்னஸும், இந்த கன்னிங்னஸ யூஸ் பண்ணி ஏதாவது உருப்படலாம்னா அது கிடையாது. இந்த மைண்ட் உருப்படாம போறதுக்கு உண்டான யோசனை ஃபுல்லா அந்த மைண்ட் அப்பப்ப கொடுக்கும். எழுதணுமா எக்ஸாம், இன்னும் 4 நாள் தானே இருக்குது. மைண்ட் வந்துச்சா இல்லையா? மைண்ட் வாய்ஸ் கேட்டுச்சா இல்லையா? 4 நாள் 5 நாள் மார்க் டெஸ்டே இந்த பாடுபடுது. இதுல வேற யூபிஎஸ்சி டெஸ்ட் பின்னி பெடல் எடுத்துருவானா யூபிஎஸ்சி. இவங்களே இந்த மாதிரி யோசனை பண்ணி நம்மள கொள்றாங்க. யூபிஎஸ்சி கொலகார பாவி அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி எல்லாம் யோசனை வரும். 4 நாள் கழிச்சு அடுத்த வருஷம் பண்ணிக்கலாமோ, அடுத்த வருஷம் மைண்ட் பிக்ஸ் பண்ணிருச்சுன்னு வைங்களேன். அது அத மாதிரி சாக்கு போக்கு சொல்றதுக்கு உலகத்திலே யாரும் கிடையாது. ஒரு ஸ்டூடெண்ட் 2 நாளைக்கு முன்னால கால் பண்ணி என்கிட்ட சொல்றாரு, சார் இந்த வருஷம் கிடையாது சார். ஏன்பா? மகிழ்ச்சியோட சொல்றாரு, சார் இந்த வருஷம் எழுத போறது இல்ல சார். ஆக்சுவலா இந்த வருஷம் எழுதலன்னு நினைக்கும் போது ஒரு மகிழ்ச்சி வரும் தெரியுமா? அநியாயத்துக்கு வரும். எழுதுறோம்னு சொல்லும் போது ஆப்போசிட்டா ஒரு துக்கம் வரும் பாத்தீங்களா, பயம். எப்பவுமே we are hedonistic, we are pleasure oriented people. we are pleasure oriented people. நமக்கு எதுல பிளஷர் இருக்குதோ அதை ஜஸ்டிஃபை பண்ணுவோம், எதுல பெயின் இருக்குதோ அதை அவாய்ட் பண்ணுவோம். இது வந்து it is a process of your personality, not your personality, my personality, everyone's personality. This process is called as rationalization. We justify what we think, right? So now நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ் வரும்போது நிறைய விஷயம் சொல்லிடலான்னு இருக்கும்போது ஐ ஹாவ் டு கையில அப்படியே சரி விடுங்க. என் மைண்ட் இப்போ சிம்பிள், இந்த வித்ட்ராயல் சிம்டம் வேண்டாம்பா. ஏன்னா எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஒரு அட்டம்ப்டை வச்சு எஸ்பிஐல கடன் வாங்க முடியாது. சார் எனக்கு எக்ஸ்ட்ரா ஒரு 5 அட்டம்ப்ட் இருக்குது, அதை வச்சு ஏதாவது லோன் கொடுங்களேன் அப்படின்னா ஃப்ரெண்ட்ட போய் கேட்டு பாருங்க, ஒரு 100 ரூபா கூட எக்ஸ்ட்ரா, எனக்கு ஒரு அட்டம்ப்ட் இருக்கு, அதை கொலேட்டரல் செக்யூரிட்டியா எடுத்துக்கோன்னு. இது தேவையில்லப்பா, இருக்கிறத கொடுங்கப்பா, பாத்துக்கலாம். கர்ணன் மாதிரி கொடுங்க. மணி பில்னா என்ன? கஸ்டடி ஆஃப் கண்டிஜென்சி ஃபண்ட் ஆஃப் இந்தியா, லோக்கல் டாக்ஸ் இருக்கக்கூடாது, டிக்ளேரிங் சார்ஜ் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர். அவ்வளவுதான். நம்ம பார்த்தோன்னே கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம். 2 வரவே வராது, 2 வராது. அப்ப இதுலதான் வரும். ஆன்சர் என்ன? 1 and 3. Prison is a state subject under 7th schedule. Correct. Central jail will house only those people. தப்புதானே? ஆனா நம்மால லாஜிக்கலா யோசிப்பாக்கும் போது கரெக்ட் தானே? சென்ட்ரல் வந்துருச்சு. கரெக்ட். Person duly committed to custody by order of court martial is criminal. Correct. In India, women can only be housed in women jail. See, women jail, women should be there. General jail, women and men, anyone can be there. Women jail தான் மென் இருக்கக்கூடாது. மென் ஜெயில அல்லது மென் ஜெயிலே ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. ஜெயில மென்னும் இருக்கலாம், விமனும் இருக்கலாம். ஆனா லாஜிக்கலா பார்க்கும்போது கரெக்ட். அது ரைட் ஃபார் விமன், அது சேஃப்டி ஆஃப் விமன், கரெக்ட்னு தோணும். அதான் சொன்ன, மைண்ட் வில் பிளே எ ட்ரிக் அகைன்ஸ்ட் யூ. அது தப்பு இல்லை, அப்படிதான் இருக்கும். ஸோ ஆன்சர் என்ன? 1 and 3. 1 and 3 எந்த இது? Western Sahara, a country on the west coast of Africa, is often seen on the news due to which of the following? Territorial dispute அப்படிங்கிறது is there always as a question. There is present territorial dispute. So the dispute is between Morocco and a group called as Polisario. Morocco versus Polisario. They are holding 80% of the land. They are holding 20% of the land. Idan dispute. Morocco versus Polisario group. Polisario group is supported by Algeria. சரியா? சிம்பிள் இதான்பா, சிம்பிள். இது குழப்பவே வேண்டாம். ஆரிஜினேட்டிங் ஹவுஸ், house which passed, pending house, என்ன ரிசல்ட்? லோக்சபா, 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 ராஜ்யசபா, ராஜ்யசபா, லோக்சபா, லாப்ஸ். எழுதி வச்சுக்கோங்க, யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்கும். Originating house, passing house, Lok Sabha, pending house, Lok Sabha, lapse, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, lapse, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, lapse. Don't lapse 2 conditions. Rajya Sabha, joint sitting. Originating in Rajya Sabha, pending in Rajya Sabha, not visiting Lok Sabha. Whether it is there or not, I'm least bothered because I'm not there. இத நல்லா பைகாட் பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா, because students get confused only in this area. When the bill will lapse, right? Article 107. Okay, so very very simple one liner. Don't worry, be happy. பயப்படாதீங்க. எதை பார்த்து நீங்க பயப்படுறீங்களோ தட் இஸ் வாட் இஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. வாட் எவர் யூ ஆர் ஃபியரிங் அட் இஸ் அன் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. அப்போ ஃபியர் இஸ் குட் பிகாஸ் இட் இஸ் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. விச்எவர் whatever gives you comfort is not going to help you. அட்டெம்ப்ட் எழுத வேண்டாம்னா ஒரு கம்ஃபர்ட் வரும்ல, பெஸ்ட். எழுத போறேன்னா ஒரு பயம் வரும்ல, ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி. You are only 7 days away from your success. All the best. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, friends. Hope this has been the final discussion that I have the opportunity to have with you all. And may the best of your preparation and the best of your attempt comes in the next week. Don't worry too much about the marks you get in this test or in the upcoming tests. Take it only as a learning. Learn the focus. I always wanted to say this. This 2 hours that you're going to do in the next week is going to determine your next 1 week. Never give any room for doubts. Never give any room for fruitless distractions during the examination time out of fear. Run through the papers, do at least 4 rounds of question attempting, and try to notch up your answers up to 80 to 90. So with the small notes, let's get into the discussion. Okay. So question number 4, about the notion of critical wildlife habitat. It may be very natural to say that anything related to wildlife may be associated with the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, but that is not correct. Because for this question, critical wildlife habitat, it is actually associated with Forest Rights Act 2006. Yes. So critical wildlife habitat has been legally recognized under Forest Rights Act 2006. It is very correct. So critical wildlife habitat is considered to be a specific and clearly mentioned areas of inviolable regions for wildlife conservation. Forest Rights Act aims to provide certain rights for the forest dwelling communities. But even in the act itself, it mentions that there are some areas in the forest in which even tribes cannot enter. So that areas is what called as critical wildlife habitats. So critical wildlife habitats are those areas where human presence are absent or human presence are prohibited. That is why it comes under FRA, because FRA allows them to venture in any parts of the forest, right? Even the tribals cannot be allowed in this region called as critical wildlife habitat. So that is mentioned in FRA 2006, which is very logical, correct statement. And second, it is applicable only to national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. That is also true, which means any protected areas, which includes national parks and wildlife sanctuaries alone, can be declared as critical wildlife habitats. So for this question, both 1 and 2 is correct. Let's move to question number 5, terrazyme. Terrazyme is a technology that is related to road infrastructure, soil stabilizer. It is used as surface and subsurface soil stabilizer used for durable road infrastructure construction. 2. For question number 5, B is the right answer. Question number 6, green hydrogen, green ammonia, green carbon. What they are, how many are correctly matched? You might have known green hydrogen is produced from the electrolysis of water, right? So it is correctly matched. Green ammonia is, see, green hydrogen, we make hydrogen from the water. This hydrogen is used to make green ammonia. So ultimately, green ammonia stems from the hydrogen that is produced in this process. So therefore, green ammonia also has to be water. When we say methane, which is from the fossil fuels, it is not considered as green. It is to be called as gray. What the hydrogen is, that's what ammonia is. If the hydrogen is gray, ammonia also should be gray, because it is from this ammonia is produced, right? So that's a logic. So this is wrong. Green carbon, at least you should have known this. Green carbon is nothing but the plant that makes the carbon from the photosynthesis, not water. So this is wrong. The correct answer for this question is this is wrong, this is wrong. 1 only. 10. Which of the following scientists proved that the stars with mass less than 1.4 times the mass of the sun end up as a white dwarfs. This is what actually called by a famous limit called as Chandrasekhar limit. Chandrasekhar limit determines what the star would end up as. Whether the star would end up as white dwarf, that means if it is less than 1.44 times, the star will end as a white dwarf. If it is more than 1.44 mass, it will become into a neutron star. If the mass is more than 3, it will end up as a black hole. So 1.44 less, 1.44 higher, and 3 solar mass. This limit is what called as Chandrasekhar limit, and the scientist behind them was S. Chandrasekhar. So 10th question, B is the answer. Question number 23 about steel slag. Steel slag is a byproduct of the steel industry, and with Indian government focusing on the circular economy, where the reuse and recycling is being promoted, steel slag is a waste of the steel industry, and they would like to find alternative uses of the steel slag. And even in the recent times, not only India, even the US government is focusing on the finding the purpose of steel slag, which is in road construction, because steel slag can be mixed with the bitumen. Usually what we do, we mix gravel with the bitumen in our road making, but there they plan to mix it with the bitumen because of two reasons. One, they have a high wear resistance, and second, they can be made to make thin roads. Made to make thin roads rather than make a thick roads. They can make the thin roads with firmer grip on the rubber tubes, which is what the vehicles are plying on the roads. Because of these two reasons, steel slag find much use in the road construction industry. But is it non-hazardous? Usually, it is considered to be non-hazardous. Correct. Under Basel Convention, because Basel Convention deals with hazardous substances. So one is correct, and therefore this can be eliminated. Second, it can be used to build roads cheaper. Yes, it is known to be about 35% cheaper than the conventional road building, but in terms of life, there it takes a hit. It is considered to be kind of durable roads may not be the forte of steel slag. It can last only up to 15 years, but the conventional concrete or the bitumen roads may extend up to 30 years. So the lifetime is lesser, only about 15 years. Conventional roads can stay up to 30 years. So this is wrong. So the correct answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Question number 24, UN Forum on Forests. In 1992, the Earth Summit, also called as Rio Summit, has come up with a principle called as forest principles, which is a non-binding principles on the conservation of forests, called as forest principles. And along the forest principles, many initiatives were taken. One of such important initiative was formed by ECOSOC in 2000. So that is called as UN Forum on Forests. So UN Forum on Forests is depending on 1992 forest principles. So second statement is a perfectly correct statement. And how about the membership? It has a universal membership. This is also correct. And what is the nature of the organization? It is an intergovernmental policy. Yes, it is an intergovernmental policy forum. All the three statements are correct. Question number 36. It is one of the easiest question, right? India does not have any deposits of uranium. Wrong. India has uranium reserves in Jharkhand, in Meghalaya, and also even in Tumanapalli of Andhra Pradesh, called as Kadapa Basin. So India does not have any deposits. Wrong. India does have deposits of uranium, but it is of a low quality uranium, which means low quality means uranium-238 is high in concentration. It is called as low quality uranium. Second, thorium deposits, which are found in monoazite sands. Yes, right? Thorium are found in monoazite. Okay, that part is correct. What about the next part? Cannot be directly used as a fuel. Yes, thorium cannot be directly used. The reason is because thorium is considered as a fertile nuclear material. It is not a fissile nuclear material. fissile nuclear material na yaar yarna only uranium 235, uranium 233 and plutonium 239. Only these are called as fissile, which can be directly used. But uranium 238, thorium 232 cannot be directly used. It has to be first used in a breeder reactor. Then it can be used later. So this cannot be used is a correct statement. The correct answer is both one and I'm sorry. First one is wrong, right? So the answer is 2 only. Question number 37. This year is an El Nino year, you all might have known. But what is the impact of the El Nino on biodiversity? Most often, when UPSC gives a statement like this and ask a question, do not worry too much about what the statement says. This most often will be a diversion. It will try to take away your much needed focus and put you into a different trajectory. As much as possible, see next part. If this question is complete by itself, analyze the options only using this. Don't go into this at all. Okay, this is only like a prelude or maybe like an introduction. Don't waste your time or don't waste your energy into that. This is a diversion tactic by UPSC. So the simple question is El Nino occurrence means which is an ocean phenomenon. You all know about El Nino, where there is a directional change in the ocean currents, right? What could be its impact on biodiversity? Usually, ocean currents between in the Pacific Ocean usually moves in the westward direction, but during El Nino, it reverses, moving towards eastward. This is America, and this is Asia. Now, what we have in the between Europe and Asia, we have Pacific Ocean. So this directional change is what we call it as El Nino, right? So because of this, when this water moves in the South America, there will be upwelling. Upwelling, when it happens, what happens? The colder water comes to the surface. But now the warm water is going here. What will happen to the upwelling? Upwelling won't happen. So this will result in warmer waters along the Southern America or on the eastern coast of Europe and Asia and Africa. So in the context, the point in warm ocean waters. What it will affect? Of course, it will affect in phytoplankton growth. What is due to decreased ocean upwelling? Correct. True. This is a correct one. This is known to have an impact. And second, what will happen because of decrease in phytoplankton growth? Phytoplankton stays at the bottom of the food chain. When the phytoplankton decreases, the entire marine food chain decreases. So it affects biodiversity. So this is correct. Second, thermal stress on corals affecting the symbiotic relationship with the zooplankton. This is also correct. With increase in ocean temperature, the coral reef also expels the zooplanktons. This is also correct. The third one, an increased presence of certain marine predators that affects the local biodiversity. This also I would like to give you more like a kind of a generalization. The generalization you can use it in exam, but with a little caution. என்ன generalization சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னா எப்போதாவது இது மாதிரி certain some அப்படின்னு வந்ததுன்னா this is something where the scope is always possible. Most often it has to be correct. ஒருவேளை you arrive at two statements, whether it is correct or not, you finally stuck with statements like this, most often it will be correct. Okay, so think that way, because some means it is already a kind of a hidden agenda that it has to be correct, because that's why they use the word some. So it is correct. This one is correct. So what is that name of the predator I'm talking about? It's called as thorn of crown starfish. This predator is known to be very specific against corals. And when the warm water surges, this predator is found in large numbers, which in turn eats up the corals. When the corals are lost, we know corals is considered to be rainforest of the oceans. When the corals are lost, other animals are also much affected. So it affects the local biodiversity. That is also correct. So the clue, what I'm saying at the end of this session is, whenever this kind of, whenever we say, you would have known all. Whenever the word all comes, most often it has to be wrong. You would have known about it. Likewise, whenever comes like this some certain, it will be mostly correct. So 3 statements are correct. The answer is 1, 2, and 3. Question number 41 about Shatush wool. This has been in the news because despite the restrictions on the trade of the Shatush wool, in many airports it has been caught by the excise department. So that's why it was in the news. So Shatush wool is derived from the Tibetan antelope. Correct. This is mostly found in China, but also found in India and Tibet. So India, Tibet, but its highest population is found in China. It is known to prefer the open grasslands of high altitude steppes. High altitude steppes is a natural home habitat for the species. The wool can be collected without killing the animal by collecting the wool that got scrapped in bushes. If this is how the Shatush wool is being made, then there will be no threat on the animal life itself. But that's not true. Shatush wool is made actually by killing the animal. To make a one Shatush wool, at least 4 Tibetan antelope has to be killed. So this is wrong. This is wrong. Tibetan antelope, what is its conservation status? It is a near threatened animal. It is near threatened, not critically endangered or endangered. It is near threatened, NT. And the third one, so this is wrong. 2 is wrong. One can carry the Shatush wool through airports or ports without any permit. Remember, sometimes the point end of dinner, this is another thing I would like to tell you before you go to the D-Day coming in the next week. Do not ascertain the validity of one statement based on another statement. You have to assess each statement independently for its veracity and validity. You would have thought, oh, if this is correct, then this has to be correct, right? Because second, the animal wool can be collected without killing it. Then there could be no restriction on its import in the airports, you would have thought. But that's wrong. Every statement has to be independently analyzed, right? நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிடுவோம்னா இதை வச்சு பார்ப்போம் இல்ல இதை வச்சு பார்ப்போம். Or there might be 2 questions on the same area, 2 different questions. Question number 30, question number 50. You might think with cross reference. Never enter into that. Each question and each statement has to be independently verified. So this in fact is wrong because it is in appendix 1 of CITES. And therefore its trade is prohibited. Shatush wool trade is prohibited because it is under appendix 1 of the CITES. So 2 and 3 is wrong. 1 only is the correct answer. Question number 42 about international ice memory. With the climate change, fast pacing, and with the melting of the glaciers, we are losing an important memory that our planet is saving, which is called as ice memory. Because millions of years has passed without any humans disturbing the ice accumulating in our poles. And this holds a much of information of the past, right? When the ice is falling, that's how the glaciers are formed. It also captures small air pockets, which gets settled over and over the millions of years, and thousands of years, if not million, thousands of years. So if we drill into this ice, then that will have a vast information that would not have been possible. In fact, scientists say that the direct analysis of the past climate can be known only through ice. Everything else we do is only kind of analogical, but direct analysis of past climate can be done only through this called as ice memory. And what's the problem now? This ice memory is fast losing because of the melting. So before anything happens bigger, we want to take it and preserve it. So they would like to preserve it in Antarctica in deeper caves. Now what they're doing is they're drilling deeper holes into this ice and they're preserving it in underground caves in Antarctica, where minus 50 degrees Celsius is maintained. They want to drill it and they want to preserve it to do further analysis. Now coming to the last point, ice memory is always about past. It has nothing to do with the future. We can make future forecasting, but that is not its direct use, and even precise future forecasting is not possible. All what we can do is to understand what existed in the past. So 4 should not come. If you eliminate 4, already you got 50% correct. The correct answer is 1, 2, and 3. 44th, about wildlife protection. Chief Wildlife Warden is empowered to permit any person to hunt a Schedule 1 animal which has become danger to human life. Yes. The killing of any wild animal in good faith in defense of oneself or any other person shall not be an offense. This is also correct. The third one, any wild animal killed in defense of any person shall be government property. Yes, all the three statements are correct. Question number 45. It's a scientist and physician, valuable contribution to plant physiology. Okay, that is the clue. So, who is a plant physiology? Homi Baba, nuclear science, Meghnad Saha, water infrastructure, water planning, and Jagadish and statistician is also statistician. And the correct Jagadish Chandra Bose, physics, is a physicist, particle physics. The correct answer is Prafulla Chandra Ray. Sometimes you can eliminate. So always remember, if you don't know the answer directly, try to eliminate and reserve the question later and do it in the second and the third round. Eliminate பண்ணி வச்சிருங்க, second, third roundல பண்ணுங்க. Question number 56. Net primary productivity of a biomass. It goes like this. A question simply asking descending order of NPP, net primary productivity. This may be a little difficult. You don't know the exact numbers of how much biomass is made. But one thing you should have known, that always oceans has the least net primary productivity. This has to come last. This is something very standard information you should have known. Among all the options, only B comes last. The correct answer is 1, 2, 4, and 3. You should know the basic facts which having the highest biomass productivity, net primary productivity, and which has the least. The one is the highest one, yaar? Swamps and marshes. Swamps and marshes has the highest, and open oceans has the least. Okay, so the correct answer is 1, 2, 4, and 3. So even if a question seems the topic is known, but you don't know precisely, that is where elimination technique will help you. Never leave these questions. The next one, in context of biodiversity heritage sites in India, consider the following statements. Yes, biodiversity heritage sites are actually legally recognized sites under Biological Diversity Act 2002. They are unique and ecologically fragile ecosystems having rich biodiversity. Yes, that's what it is. They are notified by the central government after consultation with the National Biodiversity Authority. No, it is notified by the state government in consultation with the local body. See, the logic is very simple. Biodiversity heritage sites. This seems like a kind of a region with a certain biodiversity richness, similar to protected areas, like national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. And according to WPA, which is having the primary authority to establish national parks, in establishing national parks and wildlife sanctuaries, who has the primary authority? State government. So similarly, this is also one kind of an area for conservation, and therefore, who has to be the authority for establishing it? State government. So try to think. If you come across one area, you know about it, but not precisely, try to imagine, try to get into a similar concept. இது வேற எது கூட கனெக்ட் ஆக முடியும் கனெக்ட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு அதுல இருந்து try to derive the answer. So for this, it is not central, it is state. Third one is a factual point. We cannot do anything with that. Majuli, in fact, is the largest one. So 2 is wrong. 1 and 3 is the answer. Question 58. Deep ocean mission, it blows all the while. Finally, it's asking under what ministry it comes. You may eliminate some, but don't think this is the right answer. If you've chosen this as the right answer, that has the biggest blunder. Because it's a very important mission. Anything related to ocean come under MOES. Anything related to ocean, polymetallic nodules, say deep ocean mission, anything, exclusive economic zone, whatever that is, it comes under MOES, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Because Department of Ocean Development is in fact one of the department under MOES. Right? So 58, C is the answer. 67, Climate Technology Center and Network. So Climate Technology Center and Network, it is a technology mission under UNFCCC, but it is hosted by UN Environment Program, yes, in collaboration with UN Industrial Development Program, IDP, UN IDP. So this is hosted by UNEP in collaboration with UNIDP, Industrial Development Program. And what is the main aim? Three simple aim we can say. One, technological assistance to developing countries. Two, access to climate technologies. Three, collaboration for development. These are the three aim of this Climate Technology Center and Network. So second is correct. First is correct. 67th question. Both 1 and 2 is answer. About Conference of Parties on UNFCCC. A very simple question. Since the first COP in 1995, yes, that's factually correct. The first Conference of Parties of UNFCCC was held in 1995 in Germany. The annual conferences, which means they say it is held every year. True. We know UNFCCC is held every year, have been held every year regularly. Has it been held regularly since 1995 every year? Except 2020, right? 2020 COP26 have been skipped due to COVID pandemic. So that is wrong. What about the second one? Do you think second statement is correct or wrong? India has never hosted, no, it has hosted only once in the year 2002. 2002 climate change conference was held in New Delhi by India. So this is wrong. The answer is neither one nor two. Both are wrong. Question 69. Market mechanisms of decarbonization efforts. Energy savings, called as energy saving certificates. You heard about this, right? Even previous year question was based on this asserts that comes under PAT mechanism. You would have known PAT mechanism, right? Perform, achieve, and trade. Yes, it is a market mechanism. Yes, I forgot to say one thing. Presently functional, which is already being in implementation, not in the planning stage, but it is in fact being implemented, being enforced. This is being enforced, yes. In fact, this energy saving certificates PAT mechanism has been done in many cycles. Cycle 1, cycle 2. Right now we are in cycle 7, PAT 7 stage, which will be applicable for about 6 energy intensive sectors. Applicable for 6 energy intensive sectors. So this is correct. Star ratings of electrical appliances, which is under the domain of Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, that is also correct. But carbon market has been intensely taken only from 2023. It is in a planning stage. It is not yet been implemented. Third 2 is wrong. So eliminated. The correct answer is 1 and 3. Question 79. If potato is placed on a pure paper plate which is white and unprinted and put in a microwave oven, then the potato heats up but the paper plate does not. This is because, simply because water. Microwave functions based on the dielectric heating of molecules. And dielectric heating of molecules is associated with water and proteins and nucleic acids. They will get heated up. Mostly water. And the correct answer is C. Question 83, which are referred as variable renewable energy. Variable renewable energy. When we say the word renewable energy, energy which is renewable, nuclear power has to be shut down because nuclear power is not renewable. Because we mine the uranium, it gets depleted. It is not renewable at all. So eliminate these two. We are left with 2, 3, and 4 and 2, 3. You should know just 4. Hydropower is not considered to be a variable. What is variable? Whether the power generation is fluctuating based on the seasons or it is more like a standard power generation that is available. We know solar energy and wind energy is seasonal in nature, but hydropower is not because of the storage of the water dams. Variable here means fluctuately generated renewable energy. It's called as variable. So therefore, hydropower is not considered to be variable. So what is variable? 2 and 3. Solar energy and the wind energy is considered to be variable forms of renewable energy. 83, 2 and 3 is the answer. 84. Consider the following endemic species of India given below. Whenever see, remember what comes here. Like earlier question, there were three line things. Whatever comes here will be correct. Do not try to see endemica irukuma, endemica irukada. Don't get into that analysis, because what comes here will always be correct. The only thing is enna is not a bird. This is actually the question. So in fact, all the four are endemic species correct. And among them, these two are considered to be critically endangered species. Malabar large spotted civet and the Jordan's courser are actually critically endangered. Rufous babbler found in Western Ghats, it's a bird. Nilgiri thrush also found in the Western Ghats, it's a bird. Malabar large spotted civet is a cat species. Jordan's courser is also a bird species, but it is known to be found in Eastern Ghats or present-day Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. It is found only in Eastern Ghats. Jordan courser was believed to have extinct, but only in the 1980s it was rediscovered. So this is a very special species of bird. It has been rediscovered, and therefore it naturally will be critically endangered. Correct? The population will be so low in numbers. So all the three are birds except this. The correct answer is three only, which is not a bird. Civet is the animal which is not a bird. Question 85. In India, the exposure to particulate matter is higher inside a home than that of outside environment. Yes, indoor air pollution. True. In the indoor air pollution, the exposure to particulate matter is considered to be very high inside the homes, about 10 to 13 times. According to an independent study by WHO, the indoor air pollution and the exposure to particulate matter is very higher in the home than on the outside. And this could be due to many reasons. One of the largest reason is uh, uh, cooking. Okay, biomass cooking. Biomass cooking is considered to be the major reason for the indoor pollution in India. And particulate matter, is it a carcinogenic agent or not? Yes. Particulate matter is considered to be a carcinogen by International Agency for Cancer. So, two is correct and one is also correct. Both 1 and 2 is the right answer. Question 89. Likely consequence for human health due to the improper disposal of biomedical wastes like syringes, sponges, bandages. What will happen? Let's talk about sickle cell anemia. It is a genetic disorder. Genetic disorder don't come by contact with these materials. So 3 has to be eliminated. The same is true for coronary artery disease. Coronary artery disease is due to the accumulation of fat in the blood vessels. It has nothing to do with this discarded medical wastes. So 3 and 5 eliminate panano. Spread of hepatitis infection. Through this waste, infection can spread. It can be bacterial infection, it can be viral, anything. But if it is improperly discarded, infection will spread, correct? And along with this, if that patient is actually having an AMR bacteria, antimicrobial resistant bacteria, and the medical waste கீழே வந்துச்சுன்னா யாரா கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா they also get the same bacteria which will be antimicrobial resistant. So that is also correct. And sometimes medical treatment also involves use of radiological elements. So that also may be exposed. For this, correct answer is 1, 2, and 3. How the coronary artery disease might be transmitted due to these wastes? See, we need to understand what coronary artery disease is. Coronary artery disease simply means that disease which are affected by the improper flow of blood in the blood vessels. The improper flow of the blood in the vessels is due to its blockages. So blockages in the blood capillaries is what called as coronary artery disease. And how these blockages can happen? Is it happen because of accumulation of fat or medical waste? Medical waste ko நம்ம blood vessels block வரதுக்கு சம்பந்தமே இல்லை. How it? See, you may have a cardiac infection. When the word infection comes, then it is applicable. But coronary artery disease is not an infection. It is not an infection. Infection வந்தாதான் medical waste connect பண்ண முடியும். Right? It is not an infection. For example, if a person is having a heart disease, if you sit near to them, will you get heart disease? No, it is not an infection. It is not communicable. So, at least if you eliminate 3, this can be eliminated. Then coronary artery disease, if you eliminate this, the only thing is 1, 2, and 4, and 2, and 1 has to be obvious. 1 varano. Abdi pathina, this comes the last choice. 1, 2, and 4 is the answer. Question 94. Tiger census. Tiger census is conducted by National Tiger Conservation Authority. Yes. In collaboration with Wildlife Institute of India, that we asked in the previous test. So please refer the previous test. Yes. In participation with non-governmental organization. Correct. It is conducted how many years once? Once in every 4 years. And it has consistently increased since the first tiger census. Correct. The numbers doesn't matter. You should just know the trend. Since the first census, it is increasing. Correct. And according to Tiger Census 2022, Western Ghats landscape. No, it is not the Western Ghats landscape. Central Indian landscape. Which state has the highest number of tigers? Madhya Pradesh. It comes under Central Indian. That's the simple logic. In the state highest tiger irukko adella varnom illaya Madhya Pradesh. So, and this is wrong. The correct answer is 1 and 2. 95th question, Forest Conservation Act 1980 and its rules, which has been recently been brought by the Indian government. It allows the project developers something similar to Kampa, okay, like something similar to carbon credit. What happens in a carbon credit? What happens? Somebody might emit more, but somebody will save their emissions, and whatever the emissions they have saved, they can sell it to those who exceed their emission, right? That's usually how carbon market works. They want to bring the same concept in Kampa also. For example, like you have a patch of land, you grow trees well with a certain density, you keep it ready. If any project developer wants to clear the forest, they have to do Kampa, right? They can buy it from you. This is like a land bank, something like a land bank which can be traded. That has been introduced in Forest Conservation Rules 2022. Correct. That's what they simply say this. It allows the project developers to purchase plantation lands from private individuals to present them as compensated afforestation. Correct. Exactly, yes, it is correct. It is working something similar to carbon credit market, carbon market. That is correct. Second one, it makes a prior consent of Grama Sabha mandatory. No, that was earlier rule. But in the Forest Conservation Rules 2022, it is not mandatory. And 3, as per the rules, central government shall give the final approval for forest clearance only after all the forest rights of the tribals are settled. No. Central government can provide the clearance prior the settlement of the tribals has been done. So the settlement of the rights has to be done by the state government after receiving the final clearance from the central government. It is not like a prior which is done. Something because of the contrary nature that was already in tradition and practice, that this came under intense criticism by the activists because of these 2 important provisions. So 3 is wrong and 2 is also wrong. The correct answer is 1 only. Yes, we have the last question. These engines uses oxygen as oxidizer, but are incapable of using atmospheric oxygen directly. It can operate even in hypersonic speeds. Which of the following engine best expresses these features? Yes, ramjet uses oxygen, but it is using atmospheric oxygen directly. So these 2 has to be eliminated. They are called as air breathing propulsion engine, correct? Air breathing, it needs atmospheric oxygen. So that is wrong. Turbojet is capable of only subsonic speeds. Subsonic, less than the speed of sound. Wrong. The only guy left is cryogenic. It uses oxygen as well as hydrogen. You would have known about liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen is used. It can travel up to Mach 13. Hypersonic speed. Mach 13 is hypersonic. And therefore the correct answer is D. Okay. So remember what I have shared. The 2 hours is of something very important that is going to determine your next 1 year. Pay your full attention. If the initial paper, the 1 or 3 pages of the paper is little difficult or kind of unknown areas, don't lose your heart. And third, have a belief on you. You have done your good work. So believe on your efforts. தர்மம் தலை காக்குன்ற மாதிரி உங்களுடைய உழைப்போ உங்களை காக்கும். So my best wishes for you all. Rock it and come back successful. Bye everyone.
Right. So welcome to the last mock test discussion. So now is not the time to feel any kind of nervousness. Okay. So whatever your scores might be, leave it aside. Have a very clear mind. Have the belief that you've done well. Take that belief and conviction into the exam hall. That's very, very important. If you have any doubts or nervousness within the hall, then it is going to drag some questions down. Okay. அதனால ரொம்ப பாசிட்டிவா நம்ம மைண்டை வச்சுக்கணும். நம்ம 50 மார்க் தான் வந்திருக்கு, போன மார்க்லாம் 150 மார்க் வாங்கியிருக்கோம் போல அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃபீலிங்ல போகணும். ஓகே, ரைட். ஸோ லெட்ஸ் ஜஸ்ட் குவிக்லி ரன் த்ரூ த questions of economy today. So 12th question asks about the demographic transition, the charts of demographic transition. One, the median age in India has crossed 30 years according to the UN population. Is it right? No. Right. The age of India, அதனால தான் என்ன சொல்றாங்கன்னா 28 அப்படின்றது நம்ம இந்தியா அச்சீவ் பண்ணதுனால தான் we are on the verge or on the brink of attaining demographic dividend அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. So we compare it with other countries. For example, China is having around 35 years of average age. ஜப்பான்லாம் 40க்கு மேல இருக்கான். ஸோ அதெல்லாம் கம்பேர் பண்றப்ப 28 இயர்ஸ்ன்றது யூத்ஃபுல் பாப்புலேஷன் இஸ் brimming in India. That's why we call the term demographic dividend. Okay. So it's incorrect. India is in the 5th stage of demographic transition is also incorrect because there are various theories of demographic transition. For example, 3-stage theory la irukku. So 5th stage என்றப்ப it speaks about the 5 stages. So 5 stages என்றது இந்த 5th என்ன ஆகும்னு சொன்னா இப்படியே போய் கடைசியா நிக்கிறது. Well developed and well advanced countries-ல தான் இந்த 5th அப்படின்னு ஒன்று போகும். Where population will come down, ரொம்ப ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கும். Everything will be less. Will be extremely low. Birth rates will also be low. Death rates will also be extremely low. Now we are on the 3rd stage of the inner. That is on the expansion phase, natural expansion phase. And therefore, this is an extreme question. So 2 is wrong. 1 is also incorrect. So neither 1 nor 2. For question number 12, the answer is neither 1 nor 2. So question number 20. Which of the following statements are true regarding FPO, foreign producer organization? எது correct அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. So it can be a company, cooperative society, trust or any other form of legal entity. Yes, of course, it can be. It can be registered in whatever form. It should compulsorily provide for the sharing of benefits to the farmers. Yes, that's why we have a unique organization, or else we could have any other entity. FPO நாலே farmers க்கு share பண்ணணும், the whatever be the profit. Okay, right. The ownership control is always with the farmers. Yes, சரிங்களா? அதனாலதான் நம்ம வந்து அந்த நேமவே farmers producer organization சொல்றாங்க. It's a kind of the advancement over cooperatives. Cooperatives ஒரு advanced form, but not akin to a very formal organization or a company. ஒரு limited liability-ல இருக்கக்கூடிய கம்பெனிஸ் மாதிரி இல்லாம ரொம்ப இன்ஃபார்மலா இல்லாம ஒரு ஆர்கனைசேஷன் செட்டப்னா அந்த எஃபிஓ சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ ஒன் ஆஃப் த கீ ஐடியாஸ் இஸ் தட் தி ஓனர்ஷிப் ஷுட் ஆல்வேஸ் ரெஸ்ட் வித் த ஃபார்மர்ஸ் அண்ட் நாட் வித் அதர் என்டைட்டிஸ் அப்படின்றதா இது. ஸோ 1, 2, 3 ஆல் ஆஃப் தெம் ஆர் கரெக்ட். So 21, consider the following with respect to internationalization of rupee. A full capital account convertibility will help in the internationalization. Is that right? See, it may lead to volatility. It may lead to depreciation. But the question is whether it will expand the acceptance of rupee. Adan kelvi. Full capital na ennapa nee eppanal India ku va maathiko. For whatever purposes you can convert your rupee. Convertibility is the key for internationalization of any currency. So we have achieved full capital current account convertibility. That is why post 1990s we are able to see a lot of incoming dollars into India. நம்ம capital accountலையும் full மாத்திட்டா there is going to be an easy conversion So liberal conversion regime is required for internationalization of any currency. Therefore, one can help. Okay, one should definitely help. Or let's say here, idhula kuda varume. Currently, Indian rupee is the 5th largest foreign currency reserve. Foreign currency reserve means India is holding US dollar as a reserve, euro as a reserve. அந்த மாதிரி மற்ற கரன்சிஸ்லாம் ஹோல்ட் பண்ணுவாங்களே, அதில் இந்தியா 5th largest-ஆ? Definitely no. Not even in the top 30. புரியுதா? And therefore, this is incorrect. So 3 is incorrect. பாருங்க, Vostro Nostro account. இது current affairs point of view கேட்டது. Of course, it will help. We are talking about internationalization in the context of this only. So 2 definitely should be there. 3 should never be there. இந்த மாதிரி ஆப்ஷன்ஸ் வச்சு நீங்க டெரைவே பண்ணலாம். என்ன பண்ணிடக்கூடாதுன்னா, many of you, those who are quite strong in economy also, they jump to the conclusion on reading the first statement. அந்த மாதிரி ரொம்ப என்டைசிங்காகவும் எல்யூரிங்காகவும் ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இருந்துச்சுன்னா பண்ணவே கூடாது. நல்லா நிதானமா இருங்க. பண்ணிட்டு ஐயோ மார்க் பண்ணதை மாற்றவே முடியாது. ஆர் எல்ஸ் வி வில் ஹாவ் தி எக்ஸுபரன்ஸ் தட் வி ஹாவ் நல்லா தான் பண்ணிட்டோம்னு சொல்லி அடுத்தடுத்து என்ன பண்ணிட்டு இருப்போம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் பார்த்தேன், there will be 4 statements for you. There is ample time for you to decide. சரிங்களா? ட்விஸ்ட்டை கொண்டு வந்து 4th ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல வச்சிருப்பான். நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட்லயே வச்சு டிட்டர்மின் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க கூடாது. ஓகே, ஸோ 4th பாருங்க, the trend of dollarization has strengthened post 1990s compared to the previous decades. No question. No one knows the data for such a huge period of time. But what do we know is that after Bretton Woods, dollar was the largest accepted currency. Then after that, the Bretton Woods agreement broke. Dollar standard had broken. அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் யூரோ இந்த மாதிரியான அதர் கரன்சிஸ் ஆர் ஃபிளஷிங் அப் இல்லையா? ஸோ கிராஜுவலி என்ன நடந்திருக்குன்னா, டாலரைசேஷனோட இம்பாக்ட் ஹஸ் நாட் வேன்ட். We cannot say that the world has gone into a period of de-dollarization, but the trend of dollarization has reduced. Adan trend. Okay, that is why we are able to express words such as internationalization of rupee, internationalization of yen. When rupee is getting internationalized, parallelly what should happen? De-dollarization nadakkanum. So therefore, this is incorrect. சரியா? So one, இந்த incorrect என்றது 3 and 4. இதை வச்சு நீங்க ரிமூவ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா what you'll get? The answer is A, 1 and 2 only. Okay, so here also it's a little bit easy question. You could just arrive at the answer by one option here, eliminating. Okay, which of the following are likely to cause depreciation? நிறைய ஓடிட்டு இருக்கோம், படிச்சதே மறந்து போய் டெப்ரிசியேஷன் இன்ஃப்ளேஷன் படிச்சுட்டு இருப்போம். இதை படிக்கிறப்ப இருக்கும், இங்கிலீஷே மறந்து போய் வேற எதாவது படிச்சுட்டு இருப்போம். Right, so be careful. So slashing of US Fed rates. இப்ப பாருங்க, slashing, when US federal rates are cut down, what will happen to Indian rupee? Last year, what happened? Indian rupee depreciated. One of the major reasons for Indian rupee depreciating is what? USA increasing its rate. When USA increases its rate, depreciation happens. When USA reduces its rate, what will happen? There is a possibility that dollars will flow into India. அப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? அப்ரிசியேஷன் தான் நடக்கணும். The answer is, which is likely to cause depreciation? Will one cause depreciation? No. Remove one, you get the answer. Okay, C is the answer. 4 only, because when there is an increased interest rates, dollar will flow into India, therefore appreciation நடக்கலாம். Liberalization பண்றதுனால என்ன நடக்கலாம்? Dollars can flow in. When you have a liberal regime, dollars can flow in. That also can lead to the appreciation. Restrict பண்றீங்கன்னா, you are not allowing dollars to come in அர்த்தம். And therefore, this is the only option here. 38. This is a scheme announced in the budget. So what is this? What is incorrect? Sorry, what is true கொடுத்துருக்குமா? தப்பா உங்களுக்கு இதுல வந்திருக்கு, அங்கேயும் மாறலையா அது? ஓகே, so if at all, let's say it is incorrect, na edu varum? What is incorrect here? Let's say you all had a doubt because it was either true and incorrect. Hmm? D is incorrect. Okay. So it allows for a partial withdrawal option. There is a partial withdrawal. This is the all these four that it will be made available for a 2-year period, deposit of 2 lakhs, 2-year tenure, fixed. All these are the announcement of the budget, and it will also have a partial window. Okay. Securitization அப்படின்றது எதுப்பா? D. Okay, so marketable securities are convert பண்றது. That process is what is called as securitization, which is of course given legal backing under the SARFAESI Act. Which of the following are considered as workers under the Indian census? Workers na yaar? எதுப்பா கண்டிப்பா ஒர்க்கர் கிடையாது? Right, அவர் ஏதோ ஹாபி பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு. That cannot be considered as work. Okay, so 4 எடுத்துடலாம். Now, women working as part-time worker in a family without wages. Women bringing wood from the forest. This is not a worker. Here, because they are contributing to the family income, even though they may not have income as wages, they are contributing to what? Family income. So remunerative on contribute பண்றாங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். Therefore, under this is worker, this is not a worker under the classification. So 2 is not a worker, 4 is not a worker, definitely 3 is also a worker. So 1 and 3 is the correct option. The contraction of private investments due to increased deficit spending is called as crowding out effect. So this is the normal thing, but in the recent years, the government is putting forth the data that it is not crowding out is not a phenomenon in India, rather crowding in நடக்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. Okay, so crowding out அப்படின்றது இந்த வருஷத்தோட CDS questionல வந்துருச்சு. The same question. Okay, another question also I think. Yeah. Regarding International Labour Organization, it is a unique tripartite character which links the governments, the employers and the workers, of course. Right, in the மூணு பேரையும் லிங்க் பண்ணக்கூடிய one single covenant or treaty is ILO. 1919 we had this. India is a founding member of that also and has ratified all its 8 core convention is incorrect, because there are 6 conventions only which India has adopted. 2 convention which is regarding the collective bargaining power and the right to hold demonstrations. இந்த மாதிரியான conventions India has not. So forced labor, child labor, இந்த மாதிரி conventions India has adopted. Therefore, this is incorrect. 1 is correct. So A, 1 only. Which one of the following is a measure that can be used by the government for combating inflation? Very straightforward and simple question. C, increasing. Okay, tight monetary policy. Which of the following is true about virtual currencies? C is true. See, here also you can say there are some exemptions. Today, most of the virtual currencies that we have in existence are based on blockchain. There can be some other technology also, which is not on the basis of cryptography. We can also have such a virtual currency. But என்ன அப்படின்னா இந்த நாளில் எது ட்ரூ இஸ் நாட் ட்ரூன்னு கண்டுபிடிக்கணும். இது கண்டிப்பா ட்ரூ கிடையாது. They are also known as no. ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல யாருக்கா டவுட் வந்திருக்கலாம் தானே? Yes. Virtual currencies are fungible. Any currency has to be fungible. Only then it can act as money. It should be replaced. Equalization நடக்கணும். It could be equalized by some other form. அதனால தான் 1 is incorrect அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம். So C is correct. No, virtual means it should never have a backing behind. ஒரு டோக்கனா எதுவும் இருக்கக்கூடாது. Its sole existence should be in the virtual world only. Right. In the context of Indian economic history, which was constituted? சொல்லுங்கப்பா. புரியல. which can be used by the government. இதுவும் யூபிஎஸ்சியோட கொஸ்டின் தான்ப்பா. இந்த வருஷோட சிடிஎஸ் 2023 கொஸ்டின் தான் எடுத்தேன் நான். ஓகே, சரி ஹியர் என்னன்னா அப்படி பார்த்தா எதுவுமே வரக்கூடாதுன்ற மாதிரி வந்துரும்ப்பா. கவர்மெண்ட்னா இப்ப நீங்க லெட்ஸே அப்ப வேற என்ன வரும் சொல்லுங்க. லெட்ஸே யூ ஹேட் அ டவுட், கவர்மெண்ட் தான் பண்ணணும், அதனால இது ஆர்பிஐ பண்றது, ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் எலிமினேட்டட் திஸ். வாட் ஆஃப் தி அதர் திங் த்ரீ கேன் பி ப்ரொவைடிங் மோர் சப்சிடிஸ் அப்படின்றது on exports and letting all the essential commodities to go out of India. அது என்ன பண்ணும்? Food inflation is there in India. Government is heavily subsidizing its export and therefore everyone is exporting. என்ன நடக்கும்? சரியா? இது 49 RRTs. ஓகே, 1975 IRD எல்லாம் ரொம்ப லேட், 2001-2 அதில் தான் வந்துச்சு. NABARD 1981 ஆக்ட், செபி 1992. ஓகே, டீம் ஐ திங்க் இதுல உங்களுக்கு கரெக்டடான ஆப்ஷன் இல்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் இல்லையா? இதுல ஐ திங்க் உங்களுக்கு அடுத்த செட்ல கரெக்டா வந்திருக்கும். உங்களுக்கு ரீப்ளேஸ்ட் ஃபைல், அதாவது ஏ போட்டிருந்தீங்கன்னா கரெக்ட், பட் என்ன அப்படின்னு சொன்னா தி ஆன்சர் இஸ் 1 and 2. I hope everyone would have marked 1 A அப்படின்றதான். சி மார்க் பண்ணிக்கலாம், அது ஒன்னு தப்புன்ற மாதிரியா இல்லையா? ஓகே, சி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாருங்க, பீம் எதை யூஸ் பண்ணது? 1 and 2. This is incorrect. இங்க பாருங்கப்பா, ஆல் தி அபவுட் கீ தப்புப்பா. உங்களுக்கு கீ என்ன அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, சி the first statement should have been 1 and 2. சரியா? 1 and 2 தான் கரெக்ட் ஆன்சர். ஐ திங்க் ஃபார் யூ உங்களுக்கு அடுத்த பிரிண்ட் ஆனது கரெக்டா வந்திருக்கு, இல்ல பிரிண்ட் ஆகல. ஓகே, அப்படி பார்க்க கூடாது தம்பி. ஆல் தி அபவுட் அதுல இன்கரெக்ட் இருந்தா நீங்க எப்படி அதை சூஸ் பண்ண முடியும்? 3 is definitely incorrect, isn't it? So all the above தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எலிமினேட் பண்ணணும் நீங்க, புரியுதா? ஓகே, settling BOP transactions, which of the following can be used by SDR? SDR cannot be used for funding infrastructure projects or for any kind of monetary transaction. It can be only used for BOP or forex reserve. Therefore 1 and 3 எங்க இருக்கு? C. Okay, SDR is not a money, it should not be used for any monetary purposes. Okay, so trade deficit அப்படின்றது இது கரெக்ட் அப்படின்றாங்க. 1 கரெக்டா? Wrong. 2 definitely wrong. Okay, so 2 eliminate பண்ணாலே you get the answer. Okay, 3 and 4. The rising deficit, of course, it is unable to compete against imports. இதெல்லாம் சொல்றோம். Okay. So 71, gold monetization. It involves the issuance of gold denominated government securities which can be bought using cash or gold. No, சரிங்களா? There is nothing called as here gold monetization. Is a scheme that has been opened up by the government to use vacant or idle gold with the households. சும்மா கிடக்கிற கோல்டை எடுத்து உள்ள கொண்டு வந்து அதையும் ஒரு ஃபார்ம் ஆஃப் சேவிங்ஸ் இன்சென்டிவைஸ் பண்ணுன்றதுக்காக கொண்டு வந்த ஸ்கீம். There are 2 schemes related to gold. One is sovereign gold bond. அதுல தான் செக்யூரிட்டிஸ் எல்லாம் வரும். Gold monetization, there is no security at all. Government is not going to guarantee you. It is a kind of a deposit scheme. Just as you deposit money, people are encouraged to deposit gold. When you make a deposit of gold, the bank will guarantee that they will pay you the interest and the principal. Okay, so that's what the scheme is. So 1 is incorrect. The returns on the scheme can be, so 1 incorrect answer again. 2 and 3. So all are implementing, are eligible for implementing the scheme. The returns can be redeemed in both cash or gold at the maturity. Yes, this is also available. Okay. The term new umbrella entity is related to payment systems. Okay, so this is the new framework by the RBI in order to bring private players in financial technology innovations. அதாவது இன்னைக்கு பேமெண்ட் ப்ரொவைடர்னு பார்க்குறப்ப பெரும்பாலும் the single or a sole monopoly of payment issuers NPCI மட்டும்தான் இருக்கு. Only they have come out with various technology, be it the UPI, be it the RuPay, the NEFT, NEFT இந்த என்னது MPS, and also UPI and அந்த இது என்னப்பா இல்லை RTGSலாம் RBIயோட வந்துடும். பேர் அந்த இதுப்பா டோல்கேட்ல கட்டுவோம்ல ஃபாஸ்டாக், ஓகே, NETCயா சம் அந்த டெக்னாலஜி. ஆல் ஆஃப் திஸ் தே ஹவ் கம் அவுட். சரியா? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி என்டைட்டி விச் இஸ் கோயிங் டு இன்னோவேட் கொண்டு வரணுன்றதுக்காக இந்த நியூ அம்பர்லா என்டைட்டி அப்படின்ற ஒரு ஃப்ரேம் ஒர்க் யூஸ் பண்றாங்க. நேஷனல் எலக்ட்ரானிக் டோல் கலெக்ஷன், ஓகே, அதுதான் அந்த பேமெண்ட் சிஸ்டம். ஃபாஸ்டாக்ன்றது ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு பிராண்ட் மாதிரி. ஸோ ஃபாரின் ட்ரேட் பாலிசி amnesty scheme, what does it do? The correct answer is A. Okay, so the amnesty scheme இதுதான் பண்ணும். ஏதாவது ஆல்ரெடி எக்ஸிஸ்டிங் ஸ்கீம்ஸ்ல if there are any ambiguities, any disputes, it will be resolved without any penalties and all. Okay, so interest applicable is capped at 100%. This is a new, it covers all the cases of last two கிடையாது, இதுக்கு முன்னாடி உள்ள 2015ல இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த ட்ரேட் பாலிசி 15 to 20 ட்ரேட் பாலிசி இருக்கும்ல, அந்த ட்ரேட் பாலிசியில வந்த டிஸ்பியூட்ஸை மட்டும்தான் ரிசால்வ் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ 1 is correct, 2 and 3 are incorrect. What are the predominant indicators for measuring the adequacy of forex reserves? Right, maybe we all know about this import coverage guess பண்ணும். All these three இது எதுல கொடுத்துருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொன்னா in the economic survey. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, all of them should be part of calculating what is the adequate levels of forex reserve. Okay, I think that's up for economy related questions. I think ஒரே ஒரு discrepancy இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் அந்த இதுல 1 and 2 and incorrect அப்படின்றது வராம இருக்கு. Okay, right, so other than that, so be hopeful, do not worry, அதனால பாத்துக்கலாம். Okay, என்னன்னா see sometimes you should have it's not arrogance, it's a kind of a confidence that you carry into the hall, that if I don't know, then I think majority of them will also not know. அப்படின்ற ஒரு belief இருந்தாதான் you will be able to skip a question or attempt a question. If you feel that இதை பண்ணியே ஆகணும்னு நீங்க நினைச்சீங்கன்னா you are not applying your mind there. சரியா? So be very careful. The number of attempts, so inga ninga vaangna mark doesn't matter at all. Go fresh into the hall with a new mind. Okay, all the best.
Okay, first question, Papa. Okay, yeah, we'll see the first question. See here, which among the following places is located closest to Karakoram Pass? Okay. Even if you don't know this answer, how to arrive at it? One is we mostly know Karakoram. The Sayachin, all those places are there. Probably we'll know where is Karakoram. And look here, Pangong-so, we've been reading about this for the last 3 years or more. So Pangong-so definitely we'll know. It is like at the lower part of Ladakh, the second half of Ladakh. Okay, so Pangong-so will be somewhere over there. And Galwan and Chusul, always in news for the last 3 years. There's a lot of tussle between Indian and Chinese soldiers, and all that tussle is because of which region belongs to China and India, where this Pangong-so lake is situated. So all these are situated near somewhere near Pangong-so. So you have only one option left out. So even if you don't, if you have not even heard about what is this Depsang plain, you can somehow guess the answer. Okay, so Depsang will be the answer. Okay, so this one will be the answer. Anyway, we'll see the 1 minute. Just a minute. I have another slide with a map on it. We'll change that. Okay, so Karakoram Pass near Sayachin, we know this, but Pangong-so we know it is here, this region. Okay, so one more thing, extra information, just note above Pangong-so you will be you can see the Indus River flowing in. Okay, so Indus will start somewhere from here, it will get in over here, and little bit south to that where Indus enters Jammu Kashmir, you will have Satluj entering inside. Because if you come a little bit south, it will be Himachal Pradesh. There you will have a pass called Shipkila. Okay, Shimla is in Himachal. Everyone knows that. Kulu, Manali, Shimla. So we know that. So Shimla, similarly, Shipkila. Through Shipkila, this Satluj will be entering. Just above Pangong, so Indus will be entering. Okay, just know these details. So by knowing this, you can answer, because little bit above this Pangong, so you have Galwan Valley. Yeah. So up in the area, so you can just guess, eliminate and guess it as Deshpan. Okay. So which among the following does not share more than one international boundary with neighboring countries? Assam, we know it has so many boundaries around. Almost every northeast state has boundary with Assam. So which one could it be? Mizoram. On the right side, you have Myanmar. On the left side, you will be having Bangladesh. So no Mizoram. Sikkim, again, it will be touching Bhutan as well as Nepal. So no way. So it has to be Tripura, because it touches only Bangladesh. Yeah. Yeah. Which among the following does not share more than one international boundary? Okay. Yeah. So you can see Assam touching almost every single state except Sikkim. So only one option is Tripura, because around Tripura it's only Bangladesh. Okay. So next one, river Mekong flows through which among the following countries? Okay, it starts from China. We know it starts from China, and it is this Mekong River is known for being a boundary between Thailand and Myanmar as well. So Thailand and Vietnam, both, and after at last it enters the sea after flowing through Vietnam and Cambodia. So answer should be all 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Next one, what is the next one? Yeah, if you want, you can see the picture. It starts from China. One thing to know about this particular river is it's the boundary between Laos and Myanmar. Consider the following statements with respect to uranium deposits. Kazakhstan and Australia have the largest reserves of uranium. Rajasthan and Gujarat have the largest reserves of uranium in India. In India? No. India have very few amount of uranium, and that and it's not on the western side. Mostly it is a little bit of uranium which is found. It is found on the eastern side. So if you don't have to know the exact state. We know that it is found somewhere little bit. Nowadays it was in news. Uranium is found in Meghalaya. You would have heard, right? They say that it is abundant. So two important news about minerals. One is, which everyone know, in Jammu Kashmir they have found lithium. That is one thing. And the bad thing about that is we have found lithium just as a mineral, but the problem is whether it will be useful for India or not. Not much, as far as we know now, because mining lithium or producing lithium is a huge job. And that is why if you see where lithium is found in abundance is that ABC countries, Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. But who is top in having lithium is China, because they know how to produce it. They have the infrastructure for producing it. So whether it's going to be feasible by producing lithium is still a question for us, because we don't have that infrastructure yet. Okay. And similarly, the second mineral that is in news is this uranium, because we've been struggling with uranium because we are not in that nuclear supplies group until now. And if we have to be a part of nuclear suppliers group, we have to sign this non-proliferation treaty, with which we are not ready to do that. So it's always a trouble for us. But yet we have found that uranium is found in abundance in Meghalaya. So that is in news. So it is definitely not on the western side. And Kazakhstan and Australia, yeah, that is right. So answer should be 1. And one more reason why we have to know the relation between Australia and uranium is India was not supposed to get uranium. According to this, since we are not part of nuclear suppliers group. But one thing that you have to know is nuclear suppliers group, what does it mean? They don't supply uranium to countries which are not part of nuclear suppliers group, or which have not signed in Wassenaar agreement or NPT. But one thing is, in nuclear suppliers group is not binding. It's not actually this. Why? Because you don't have to know it, you don't have to memorize it. It's very simple. But if it was binding, how will Canada and Australia accept to give uranium to us? So that is something which we have achieved great in diplomacy. So we would have this happened some 3 years or 4 years before itself. Indian diplomats, including Indian Prime Minister, traveled to countries like Australia and Canada, and they made sure that though we are not in NSG, we will be getting uranium. So from that you can know NSG is not binding as well. And two important countries for supplying uranium are Kazakhstan and Australia, and both have accepted to give uranium to us. Okay, so next one. On the eastern belt in few places uranium இருக்கு. ஆனா இது ஆல்ரெடி இருக்குன்னு தெரியும் நம்மளுக்கு. இப்ப புதுசா இருக்கிறதுக்கான feasibility வாய்ப்புகளான அது வந்து abundant இருக்க போகுதுன்ற அளவுக்கு இப்ப யுரேனியம் நம்மள்ட்ட இருந்தாலும் we are not able to use it because இப்போ நீங்க ஒரு மினரல் எந்த மினரல் இருந்தாலும் அந்த மினரலை நம்ம மைன் பண்றதுக்கான செலவும் அதுல இருந்து வரக்கூடிய அவுட்புட்டையும் பார்க்கும்போது அவுட்புட் வந்து ப்ராஃபிட்டபிளா இருக்கணும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா மைன் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ இந்தியாவில் மைன் பண்ணா ப்ராஃபிட்டபிளா இருக்காதுன்றனால தான் மைன் பண்ணாம இருந்தது. ஸோ ஆன் த அதர் ஹேண்ட் வெதர் one positive thing what we have that we have about nuclear minerals is we have a lot of monazite. தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும் உங்களுக்கு ஆல்ரெடி இல்ல மேபி இந்த இன்னொரு क्वेश्चनல கூட அத பத்தி வந்திருக்கு एक्चुअली இங்கே கூட. we have abundant of monazite, but the problem is from monazite you have to get thorium, but thorium you cannot use it directly. You can use only uranium 235, but thorium has to be converted to uranium 235. To convert uranium to thorium to uranium 235, you need a breeder reactor, and we have not yet achieved breeder reactor critical point. So we are not able to use thorium. இருக்கு ஆனா யூஸ் பண்ண முடியல. uranium இல்ல ஆனா தேவை யாரும் கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. So it's a huge trouble. And one more thing, which is the most cleanest form of energy above all, whether it is solar or whether it is wind or it's tidal or nuclear or thermal, which one would be called as the most cleanest form of energy? It's nuclear, not solar. Solar is actually not as cleaner as we are thinking about, because the lead poisoning, huge amount of lead poisoning, lithium poisoning, e-waste rules 2016, that it's an expected question for this year, e-waste rules 2016, because they have spoken about end user responsibility for e-waste rules, and also now they have included it for plastic. பிளாஸ்டிக் தயாரிக்கிற கம்பெனி தான் வந்துட்டு அதை வந்துட்டு ரீசைக்கிள் பண்றதையும் பார்த்துக்கிறதுக்கு அப்புறம் கஸ்டமர்ஸோட பிளாஸ்டிக் வச்சிருக்கவங்க வேலை இல்லை, கம்பெனி தயாரிக்கிறவங்களோட ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரெண்டு முக்கியமான விஷயம் வந்திருக்குது. ஸோ எலக்ட்ரானிக் வேஸ்ட் இஸ் ஹியூஜ் when we go to solar. Okay, the cleanest form of energy above all is actually nuclear. Okay, so you will have to learn a lot about nuclear, because you could get it in mains or in interview anywhere, whether what is the problem actually with nuclear, why we are not able to achieve it. Okay, so in that case we need nuclear energy, but the problem is we are not getting it, so you have to know every detail about it. Okay, next one. Pineapple Express recently seen in news is related to which of the following? Actually it is this one, atmospheric river that carry most of the water vapor from the tropics. So normally what we know is we have two winds. When we study normal physical geography, right, we learn about two types of winds. One is vertical, another one is horizontal. That's it. And in horizontal we see two types. And when we talk about planetary winds, the surface planetary winds, அது நம்ம எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்சது, the trade winds, westerlies, polar easterlies, all those things. எங்கெல்லாம் கீழே ஒரு விண்டு போதோ அதுக்கு ஆப்போசிட்டா மேல ஒரு விண்டு வந்து ஆப்போசிட்ல போயிட்டு இருக்கும், கவுண்டர் விண்ட்ஸ்னு பார்ப்போம். And later we'll coincide that counter winds with jet streams. Jet streams counter winds ஒன்னு தான் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி முடிச்சிருந்திருப்போம். So if this is surface wind, if this is westerlies flowing here, நடுவுல குறுக்க ஒருத்தர் போயிட்டு இருக்கு இன்னொன்னு, actually that is this atmospheric wind. So it carries moisture, atmospheric moisture from one place to another place. When it carries it, when it hits any mountain, it will give rainfall. So from tropics sometimes these carry moisture to long distances, even up to the temperate region, and hit a mountain there and they give rainfall. Okay, these are called as atmospheric. Sometimes they call them as atmospheric river, because the amount of moisture that they carry, one wind carrying, will be equal to the Mississippi River, it seems. So அவ்வளோ தண்ணியை வந்துட்டு ஒரு வானத்துல தூக்கிட்டு போயிட்டு இருக்குது. And once it hits a mountain, it condenses and falls as rain or snow. So for this particular river, I'm sorry, this atmospheric river which was in news, and the name was given was for it, that is Pineapple Express. என்னப்பா கிட்டத்தட்ட அதே தான். அதாவது எந்த விண்டுமே மவுண்டன்ல பட்டா மேல ஏறிடும், மேல ஏறினா கண்டென்ஸ் ஆயிரும், கூலாகிறதுனால கண்டென்ஸ் ஆயிரும் வந்துடும். ஆனா இது என்னன்னா ஹியூஜ் thousands of kilometers, டிராபிக்ஸ்ல இருந்து டெம்பரேட் வரைக்கும் தண்ணி தூக்கிட்டு போகுது. அதனால இது வந்து ரிவர்னே சொல்றாங்க இதை. ஏன்னா தண்ணியா கொண்டுட்டு போகாம மாய்ஸ்சரா கொண்டுட்டு போகுது, அவ்வளவுதான். Okay. No, this cannot be local wind. It is almost as to the size of these planetary winds, nearly to the size of planet. இது local winds சேர்க்கிறதே இல்லை ஆக்சுவலா. என்னப்பா அதெல்லாம் இப்ப நீங்க சொல்ல போனா மான்சூனே நம்ம ஒரு லோக்கல் விண்டுன்னு கூட சொல்லிடலாம். ஏன்னா அது பாத்தீங்கன்னா மீறி போன எங்க இருந்து வருது, இந்தியன் ஓஷன்ல இருந்து இந்தியாக்குள்ள வருது, அவ்வளவுதான். இது டிராபிக்ஸ்ல இருந்து டெம்பரேட் வரைக்கும் போயிட்டு இருக்குது. ஷோ ஹியூஜ். அதனாலதான் இது வந்துட்டு அட்மாஸ்பியரிக் ரிவர்னே சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க, ஒரு பட்டம் பிரிச்சிருக்காங்க. So how to go to the next slide now? Okay, so எக்ஸாம்பிள் இந்த பைனாப்பிள் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ்ன்றது கரெக்டா ஹவாய் ரீஜன்ல இருந்து கலிபோர்னியா பக்கமா போய் அங்க மழை கொடுத்துச்சு. அதனால நீங்க பாருங்க, மேல ஜெட் ஸ்ட்ரீம், கீழே நார்மல், இன் பிட்வீன் யூ கேன் see this atmospheric river. இது வந்து ஃபுல்லா மாய்ஸ்சர் கேரி பண்ணிட்டு போகுது. ஓகே, so next one, which among the following is high altitude tropical forest of dwarfed trees? So இது எங்க, so it's very, see when we talk about high altitude, almost all are high altitude. Alpine definitely high altitude, நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும். Mountain high altitude, and these two could be high altitude. So one thing, the clue here is dwarfed trees. Trees will be much dwarfed, and அது இந்த இவ்வளவு தான் ஹைட் இருக்கும். இந்த மாதிரி குட்டி குட்டியா இருந்தா dwarfed. அப்ப whether you can call mountain and alpine as dwarfed, you don't have to know rest of the answers. You don't have to know at all. நம்மளுக்கு ஆல்பைன் நல்லா தெரியும், ஸ்கூல் காலத்துல இருந்து படிச்சிருக்கோம். கோனிஃபெரஸ் ட்ரீஸ், கிறிஸ்மஸ் ட்ரீ மாதிரி இருக்கும், ஊசி மாதிரியே குத்தி குத்தி இலை இருக்கும். இதெல்லாம் நம்ம காலங்காலமா படிச்சுட்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஆல்பைன், மவுண்டைன் ரெண்டுமே அதுல வந்துடும். ஸோ ஜஸ்ட் எலிமினேட் போத். அண்ட் the problem you have is whether it's sclerophyll forest or elfin forest. பெருசா ஒன்றும் பண்ணாட்டி கூட இந்த ஏதாவது இந்த என்ன படம், அது லார்ட் ஆஃப் தி ரிங்ஸ் படம் பார்த்துருந்தா கூட எல்ஃப்னு சொல்லி கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம். அதை வச்சுட்டு போட்டலாம். டுவார்ஃப்னு சொன்னா டுவார்ஃப் எல்ஃப்ல ரிலேட்டடா இருக்கும்னு சொல்லி கூட போட்டலாம். ஆக்சுவல் நேம் that has been given for this elfin is because of that. இந்த எல்ஃப்ஸ், டுவார்ஃப்ஸ் அப்படி சொல்லி ஸ்டோரிஸ்லாம் இருக்கும்ல, அதை வச்சுதான் இது வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா எல்ஃபின் ஃபாரஸ்ட்னு பேரே கொடுத்துருக்காங்க உண்மையாலுமே. அப்ப என்னன்னு சொல்லி லார்ட் ஆஃப் தி ரிங்ஸ் படம் பார்த்துருந்தீங்க, அதை ஆன்சர் பண்ணிடலாம்னு அர்த்தம். ஸோ ஆன்சர் இஸ் எல்ஃபின். ஓகே, ஏப்பா this will be found somewhere in bit, like not too tall. மவுண்டன்ஸ்ல டிராபிக்கல் ஃபாரஸ்ட் எங்கெல்லாம் இருக்கும் அங்க பார்க்க முடியும். டெம்பரேட் ரீஜன்ல கோஸ்டல் ஃபாரஸ்ட் இடத்துலயும் இதை பார்க்க முடியும். ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி ஃபாரஸ்ட்டை பார்க்க முடியும்னு சொன்னா, they will have good rainfall, they will have good sunlight, everything will be there. And these two things are there, a tree is supposed to be very big and tall. But the problem here is the soil here will be infertile. So soil வந்துட்டு அவ்வளவு சத்து இல்லாதமா இருக்கிறனால கொஞ்சம் dwarfed வந்துட்டு இது இருக்கும். இங்க மோஸ்ட்லி ரெப்டைல்ஸ் அந்த மாதிரி அனிமல்ஸ் பாத்தீங்கன்னா just reptiles can be seen here. And if you see plants, only these types of dwarfed trees can be found. Okay, and I did not include a picture for that. After வீட்டுக்கு போனோம்னா சும்மா கூகுள்ல போயிட்டு எல்ஃபின் ஃபாரஸ்ட் சொல்லி பிக்சர் பாருங்க, செம அழகா இருக்கும் பிக்சர்ஸ் பாக்குறதுக்கு. ஒரு மாதிரி இந்த நெட்வொர்க் மாதிரி ட்ரீஸ் வந்து அப்படி வளைஞ்சு வளைஞ்சு கலந்து கலந்து அப்படி இருக்கும். சின்ன சின்ன இடங்கள் நடுவில் இருக்கும். அந்த போட்டோகிராஃபிக்கு அந்த மாதிரி இடத்துக்கு அதுக்கெல்லாம் இந்த இடத்த சூப்பரா யூஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க எல்ஃபின் ஃபாரஸ்ட். So next one, consider the following pairs. So which are correct? Okay, two sure, நமக்கு தெரியும். ஷிம்லா, ஷிப்கிலா, we'll put it. ஜலப்லா, Sikkim. So remove Chalapla. Bomdila, any idea? It is actually Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so ஞாபகம் வரலன்னு சொன்னா கொஞ்சம் யோசிச்சு பாருங்க. இது எல்லாமே இந்த பாசஸ் எல்லாம் மோஸ்ட்லி ஹிமாலயாஸ் தான். லா அப்படின்னு சொல்ற பேர் வந்தாலே இட் இஸ் ஹிமாலயாஸ். பாசஸ் மற்ற இடங்களும் இருக்கு. சவுத்துல கூட வெஸ்டர்ன் காட்ஸ் ஒட்டி எல்லாம் பாசஸ் இருக்கு. நம்ம கோயம்புத்தூர் பக்கத்துல இருக்க பாலகாட்ல இருந்து மகாராஷ்டிரின் பாலகாட், ஆல் தீஸ் ஆர் பாசஸ். ரெண்டு மவுண்டன் கடையில கேப் இருந்தா அது பேர் பாஸ், அவ்வளவுதான். இந்த லான்னு சொல்லி பேர் இருந்தாலே டெஃபினெட்லி இது ஹிமாலயா ரீஜன். ஓகே, ஹிமாலயன் மவுண்டன்ஸ் ரீஜன்ல எந்த ரெண்டு ஸ்டேட்ல வந்து அதிகமா வெடிகுண்டு போட்டே இருக்கிறாங்க? ஒன்னு ஜம்மு காஷ்மீர், இல்லைன்னா அருணாச்சல் பிரதேஷ். ரெண்டுல ஏதோ ஒன்னா தான் இருக்கணும், ரெண்டுமே இல்லை. ஸோ பிகாஸ் பாம்ன்ற பேர் இருக்குல்ல, அதனாலதான். ஓகே, நான் இப்படிதான் க்ளூ வச்சிருக்கேன். ஏன்னா அப்பவும் மறந்துடும்யா. See, for not just for this, I have clue for each and every pass. That's how I'm remembering all these passes. Okay, even for Jalapla I have actually I use a clue. When you see among all these other Himalayan countries, right, this one state is said to be completely so much organic. அதோட ஹைட்டும் கூட பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னீங்கன்னா அந்த ரீஜன்ல ஒரு 2000 meters தான் இருக்கும். 2000 metersன்றது வேற எந்த மவுண்டன் நமக்கு தெரியும்? நமக்கு 2000 metersனா ஊட்டி வந்து 2000 meters தான். ஆக்சுவலா நீங்க ஊட்டி இங்க டூர் போறீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், அங்க போனீங்கன்னா உங்களை சுத்தி காட்டுறதுலாம் எதுல கூட்டு போவாங்க? ஜீப்ல. நான் ஜெலப்ன்றது எல்லாம் தூக்கிட்டேன், அதனால ஜீப்லான்னு வச்சுக்கிட்டேன் பேரு. அதனால சிக்கிம் போனா ஜீப்ல, இங்க ஊட்டியில எப்படி ஜீப்ல சுத்தி காட்டுறாங்களோ அதே மாதிரி சிக்கிம் போனா ஜீப்ல சுத்தி காட்டுவாங்கன்னு கணக்கு வச்சிருக்கேன். So that is how I remember this. You have and I have no much time to give all the clues, but just to tell one more thing. So if this is India, okay, we stay here, we are here. Okay, so from here if you see which is last for India, நமக்கு பொறுத்தவரை எது லாஸ்ட்? ஜம்மு காஷ்மீர். ஓகே, சோ அப்ப ஏல ஆரம்பிச்சா அப்ப இது என்னன்னு அர்த்தம்? Z. So that is why Zojila passes in Jammu Kashmir. Zoji இருந்தாங்க என்ன இருக்கணும்? பஜ்ஜி ஜோஜின்னு சொல்லுவோம்ல, அப்ப ஜோஜி இருந்தா பஜ்ஜியும் இருக்கணும். புர்ஜிலா இஸ் இன் ஜம்மு காஷ்மீர் அண்ட் ஜோஜிலா இஸ் ஆல்சோ இன் Jammu Kashmir. For now, just have these clues. If I get any other time, I'll give you other clues. I mean clues also. Okay. And this one you can see here. Sela Pass, very important. You know the twin highways கட்டியிருந்தாங்கல்ல, twin tunnels கட்டியிருந்தாங்க இல்லையா? ஸோ அதனால சேலா பாஸ் ரொம்ப முக்கியமா இருக்கு. ஸோ பொம்டிலா passes here. Okay. Okay. So others just have this map. Just try to just know this after later on. Okay, pass is really important. Just try to know it. Okay. Next one, consider the following elements: copper, phosphorus, manganese, potassium, zinc. Which of the above micro elements are needed to increase soil fertility? Okay, the key is micro elements here. So it's very, and we know it is not so easy to remember all the micro elements. But one thing we know is macro elements. Macro நமக்கு நல்லா தெரியும் என்னன்னது. First எடுத்து டக்கு ஞாபகம் வந்தா யூரியா, NPK. அப்ப we'll remove phosphorus, we'll remove potassium. So what else do you have? Copper, manganese, zinc. So you have answer 1, 3, 4, 5. You have answer. Okay. So just eliminate the what is it? ஒரு நிமிஷப்பா, எது வராது? 4 இல்லாம ஆப்ஷன் 4 is 4 தூக்கிட்டோம்ல, அப்போ 1, 3, 5. Yeah, 1, 3, 5 answer. Okay. So macro elements வெறும் NPK தெரிஞ்சிருந்தா இது ஆன்சர் பண்ணிருக்கலாம். ஜஸ்ட் வெறும் யூரியா வச்சு ஆன்சர் பண்ணிடலாம். Next one, consider the following statements regarding Kangar Valley National Park. It is located in Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay. It is known for the presence of underground limestone caves. It is the home for Buster Hill Myna, a bird species. Any idea? So இதுல ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம் இங்க தப்பா இருக்கு. Actually, Kangar Valley is in Chhattisgarh. Kangar Valley is in Chhattisgarh. So remove 1 and you will have both 2 and 3 as answers. And உண்மையாலுமே this place is known for நம்ம ஜியோமார்பாலஜி சாப்டர் ஜியோகிராஃபில படிக்கும் போது காஸ்ட் டோபோகிராஃபின்னு ஒன்று படிப்போம்ல, அதுல வந்துட்டு இந்த கேவ்ஸ் வேற நல்லா படிப்போம், ஸ்டாலக்னைட், ஸ்டாலக்மைட் அதெல்லாம் படிப்போம். அந்த டைப் ஆஃப் கேவ்ஸ் வந்து இட் இஸ் ஃபவுண்ட் ஹியர் இன் கேன்கர் வேலி. ஸோ இட் இஸ் ரைட். அண்ட் திஸ் பஸ்தர் ஹில் மைனா இஸ் இன் நியூஸ் ஆல்சோ. அகெயின் திஸ் இஸ் மைனா இஸ் இன் நியூஸ். இட் இஸ் a state bird of Chhattisgarh. Okay, ரைட்டா தெரிஞ்சுக்கங்க. And most of the information will be given in your explanation, except these maps. Maps alone you have to just go and try it. Consider the following statement: the production of output of horticulture crops in India is higher than food grains. Yeah. Okay. See here, amount of food grains horticulture ana food grains adhigama irukku. But here the question is production output. Output edhula adhigama irukku sonna horticulture is higher. Yes, India is the largest producer of horticulture crops. Second, China is first. So answer should be 1 only. Next one, which among the following is not correct with respect to pepper cultivation? So it cannot grow at an altitude of more than 1000 meters. No, definitely not. Okay, 1000 meters மேல தான் மோஸ்ட்லி வளர்றதே சொல்ல போனா இல்லையா? ஸோ இன்னொன்று கரண்ட் அஃபேர்ல இன்னொரு விஷயம் கூட இருக்கு. ஜஸ்ட் நோ இட். பெப்பருக்கு ஒரு ஜிஐ டேக் கொடுத்தாங்க. எந்த ஸ்டேட் பெப்பருக்கு? அந்த பெப்பர் பேர் ஏதாவது எனிவேர் ஹேவ் யூ ஹர்ட் அபவுட் இட்? கன்னியாகுமரி பெப்பர். கன்னியாகுமரி பெப்பருக்கு ஜிஐ டேக் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. See, in entire India, 90% of pepper goes from which state? Tamil Nadu. நிறைய டைம் கேரளா நினைப்போம், ஆக்சுவலி இட் இஸ் தமிழ்நாடு. அந்த தமிழ்நாட்டில் உள்ள டோட்டல் அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் பெப்பர்ல 95% comes from only one Kanyakumari, it seems. Okay, so that why this Kanyakumari pepper has been given this GI tag is it has more oil content. It has excess oil content when compared to other peppers. So that is why this pepper is considered to be the most precious and most costly in the world, and it has been given GI tag also. Okay. Next one, the term mugherb, often heard in the news, roughly corresponds to which of the following regions? Okay, any idea? Answer is answer is B, West Africa. And why this is in news for various reasons, and one reason is மஹ்ரேப் அப்படிங்கிறது இப்ப இருக்க மொரோக்கோவுடைய பழைய பேர். ஆக்சுவலா in Arabic Maghreb means Morocco. Okay, so Morocco was called as Maghreb in Arabic language. Okay, So, but now this entire region is called as Maghreb. அவங்க வந்து மொரோக்கோவுக்காக கூப்பிடப்பட்டது. But now I'm starting from Libya up to Western Sahara, it is called as Maghreb region. Okay. Next one. Okay. T, warm and moist climate with high altitude. Yes, correct. Okay. Hot and moist climate with rich soil. Kandipa, we know. Millet, hot and dry climate with relatively less rich soil. Yeah, but it is not a condition. Soil வந்துட்டு richness இருந்தா வளராதுனால, but the main advantage of this millet is it grows even in it grows in a little bit less fertile soil. It grows in semi-arid region. It can overcome drought very easily. It can grow in drought times also. And these are the many specialities of millet. And we know some things. Millet is called as super millet. And national year of millet was 2018. And now international year of millets is 2023. UN has announced it, and on recommendation of India. So we are trying to show the uses of millet and the specialities of millet to India as well as to the world, because we know before Green Revolution and all those times, millet was the staple crop of entire South India. And in India, which state stands first? Andhra. And that's why Andhra has some special schemes for millets as well. Okay. Next one. Consider the following pairs. Subduction zone, Alps mountain. Any idea? No, because why? That entire Alpo-Himalayan range, that entire range comes under continental plate convergence. So there will not be subduction now. Even when the only convergence plate where there is no volcanoes at all. Which plate is that? Himalayas, our own Himalayas. Himalayas mattumna, the one plate which does not where convergence happens, but there is no volcanoes. Whenever convergence happens, there will be volcanoes. We know that. Why there is no volcanoes in Himalayas is because there is no subduction happening. New magma வந்துட்டு உருவாகிறது இல்ல. But when for the first time, somewhere around 35 to 40 million years before, when this Indo-Australian plate collided with Eurasian plate, at that time subduction happened, because Indo-Australian plates is northernmost region was a ocean plate at that time. So அதனால தான் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா little bit of volcanoes are there. That is why even today, if you go to Himalayas, igneous rocks are found, which was formed some 35 million years ago. Now you don't find volcanoes there, okay, because there is no subduction. And it's this Alp mountain is also a continuation of that, okay, that same region. So that is why subduction cannot happen there, okay. And one more thing, Andes mountain collision zone, convergence. அதனால தான் Andes mountain has become a fold mountain, no doubt. And North Anatolian fault, transform boundary interaction. Yes, that is correct. And divergent plate, East Pacific rise. Yes, East Pacific rise is actually divergent. Okay, these are some of the plates which we are not much aware of. Divergence nale we know mostly one plate, that is this mid-Atlantic ridge. There are ridges in other places also. Actually, some small ridges are found in other places as well, and some few I have given as examples for you. See here, this is again Gakkel ridge. This is again a divergent boundary, where this is found at the almost at the head of the earth, north pole. Exact பாருங்க, Svalbard is here. Svalbard வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா what is that, நார்வேவை விட்டு இன்னும் நார்த்ல போனா Svalbard இருக்கும். அதை தாண்டி போன சென்டர் இந்த இடத்துல பாத்தீங்கன்னா கக்கேல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு டைவர்ஜன் பிளேட் அங்க ஒண்ணு இருக்கு. அதே மாதிரி இந்த இடத்துல எக்ஸ்ப்ளோரர் ரிட்ஜ் நியர்பை this northern Andes mountain, there also you have this divergent plate. And in my geography class, one of the students asked such a question. See, you say Atlantic Oceanல இப்படி டைவர்ஜென்ஸ் ஆகுதுன்றீங்க, அப்ப நேரா இப்படி போகுது, அந்த பக்கமும் வந்துட்டு பசிபிக் பிளேட்டும் ரைட் சைடு நடந்து போகுது, அப்ப எப்படி கொலிஷன் நடந்திருக்கும்னு சொல்லி ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டாங்க. பட் இஃப் யூ see in those collision happening regions, ஆக்சுவலா அந்த இடத்துல வந்து பசிபிக் பிளேட் வந்துட்டு டைரக்ஷன் மாறி நடந்துட்டு இருக்கும் ஆப்போசிட்ல. That is why collision will happen there. For example, here East Pacific. That is why from here this Atlantic plate will be coming left, correcta? In Atlantic plate வந்து இந்த இடத்துல லெஃப்ட் தானே ரெண்டா பிரிஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கும். அப்படி பிரிஞ்சிட்டு இருந்தா இந்த பக்கம் வந்து அப்படி லெஃப்ட் சைட்ல போயிட்டு இருந்தா எப்படி கொலிஷன் நடந்திருக்கும்? நடந்திருக்காது இல்லையா? ஆக்சுவலி இந்த இடத்துல சின்னதா ஒரு பசிபிக் ரீஜன் ஒரு இடம் இருக்கும், அது வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரைட் சைட்ல மூவ் ஆகும். இந்த பக்கம் இருந்து அட்லாண்டிக் ரீஜ் லெஃப்ட்ல மூவ் ஆகும். தட் இஸ் வை you can see Andes Mountains forming there. Okay, another such place is this Baikal region. Baikal, why we have a Baikal lake is like how we have Narmada river or Tapti river, that is also a ridge forming there. Okay, and next one here, this Anatolian, Galapagos region. இங்கேயும் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா, see, you have Caucasus plate moving north and Nazca plate moving south. Here also there is divergence. So apart from this mid-Atlantic ridge, there are some other places where divergence happens. Try to know them a little bit. Okay. So which of the pairs are okay that we saw? Consider the below statements with reference to isthmus. Isthmus na we know straight na ரெண்டு நாடு இருக்கும், நடுவுல கொஞ்சம் தண்ணி இருந்தா அதுக்கு பேர் straight. ரெண்டு நாடு இருக்கும், நடுவுல சின்ன பீஸ் ஆஃப் லேண்ட் கனெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்குன்னு சொன்னா இஸ்துமஸ். நம்மளுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள், நார்த் அமெரிக்கா சவுத் அமெரிக்கா நடுவுல வந்துட்டு கனெக்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம், பனாமா இஸ்துமஸ் தெரியும். You know that. So that is the first one. They just gave some definition. Leave it. The Kra Isthmus is the narrowest part of Malayan Peninsula in southern Thailand and southern Myanmar. Yes or no? Correct. Why this question is there? ஏன்னா அந்த இடத்துல கிரா இஸ்துமஸ்ன்றது வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா, இட் இஸ் ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் மேன்மேட் இஸ்துமஸ். இட் ஹாஸ் நாட் பீன் பில்ட் ஸ்டில் டுடே. வி வாண்ட் டு பில்ட் இட். ஆக்சுவலி மியான்மருக்கு தாய்லாந்துக்கு நடுவில் இருக்கிற அந்த கேப்பை வந்து கனெக்ட் பண்ண பாக்குறாங்க, ஒரு கெனால் கட்டி கனெக்ட் பண்ண பாக்குறாங்க. அந்த இஸ்துமஸை உடைச்சி, சாரி, இஸ்துமஸ் இஸ் நேச்சுரல், த கெனால் த்ரூ தட் இஸ் மேன்மேட். ஓகே, வி ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு பில்ட் அ கெனால். ஸோ தட் வை வி ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு பில்ட் தட்? ஏன்னா அந்த இது கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்கல்ல, பார்டர் ரோடு அக்ரிமெண்ட், அதெல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம்ல, ஒன் சைனாஸ் நியூ சில்க் ரூட், அதெல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருந்த போது, சைனாஸ் ட்ரைங் டு கண்ட்ரோல் ஆல் த choke points in the world. We would have already heard about this. And one such important choke point is this Malaccan Strait. Okay, so if they control Malaccan Strait, it's very difficult for anyone to travel or take any ships there. ஸோ அதனால அந்த இடத்துல ஒரு இஸ்துமஸ் கட்டி வச்சுட்டோம், அந்த இடத்துல ஒரு சின்ன கெனால் கட்டிட்டோம், இந்த கிரா இஸ்துமஸை பிரேக் பண்ணி ஒரு கெனால் கட்டிட்டோம்னு சொன்னா, ஈவன் இஃப் மலாக்கா பாயிண்ட் இஸ் சோக்ட், டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் கேன் ஹேப்பன். And there are few countries are contesting with Thailand to build that canal, and one such important country is India. And already China had said we are going to build that canal, but now Thailand is considering to give that project to India. Actually, it's a huge geopolitical issue. That is why it's in news. Okay. Okay, the Chagos archipelago sometimes in the news is located in which of the following? Indian Ocean. Okay, so inga Mauritius, Seychelles, little bit you come above, you will have Maldives. எல்லாருமே வந்து அதிகமா டூர் போற ஒரு இடம் Maldives. Okay, so but here Madagascar இருக்கு நேரா ரைட் சைட், Mauritius little above that Seychelles, and ரெண்டுக்கும் நடுவுல கேப்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா you will have this Chagos Island, some 7 islands together. Okay, this is in current affairs, so try to know this. So Indian Ocean. Next one, the hot weather season in I forgot to put the phone in silence. Sorry. So the hot weather season in southern India is more intense than in North India. ரொம்ப basic geography, everyone would have answered it. Okay, in northern India it is very intense. Example, Rajasthan ரொம்ப பெரிய example. At daytime temperature goes to nearly 45 degrees. At night temperature goes to minus 2 degrees or 0 degrees because of continental effect. We don't have ocean nearby. So அந்த sea breeze, land breeze கான்செப்ட் வந்துட்டு இருக்காது அப்படின்றனால, so one is wrong. Southern India does not have a well defined cold weather season as like in northern India. அது இதுக்கு படிக்கலாம் வேண்டாம், அப்படி வெளியே போய் எட்டி பார்த்துட்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா ஆன்சர் பண்ணிடலாம். ஓகே, நம்மளுக்கு அப்பெல்லாம் ஒண்ணு கிடையவே கிடையாது. சும்மா ஸ்கூல்ல படிப்போம் சம்மர், வின்டர், ஆட்டம், ஸ்ப்ரிங்ல. நமக்கு இருக்கிறது சம்மர், அப்புறம் கொடூரமான சம்மர், மோசமான சம்மர், அப்புறம் பேய் மாதிரி சம்மர், அவ்வளவுதான் நம்மளுக்கு. அதெல்லாம் நம்மளுக்கு கிடையாது. ஓகே, ஸோ அண்ட் 2 is correct. Okay. Under the soil health card scheme, which among the following parameters are used to assess the health of the soil? Yeah, so one is naturally, and kandipa and the macronutrients kandipa போட்டிருந்திருப்பாங்க, few micronutrients. So phosphorus kandipa இருக்கும், micro sulfur வந்துரும், and these two, yes, we have in soil health card. So all the above is the answer. Okay, என்னப்பா? See, when a soil, how much it can conduct when lightning விழுகுது பார்த்திருக்கீங்களா, அது எவ்வளவு கண்டக்ட் பண்ணுன்றது லைட்னிங்ல தான் வந்துட்டு உங்களுக்கு நைட்ரஜன் பிரேக் ஆகி சாயிலுக்கு வர்றது. அதுக்கப்புறம் நைட்ரிஃபிகேஷன் நடக்கும், அதுக்கப்புறம் அமல்கமேஷன் நடக்கும், அதுக்கப்புறம் டீநைட்ரிஃபிகேஷன் நடக்கும்னு சொல்லி நம்ம படிச்சிருந்திருப்போம். அந்த சாயில நாடியூல்ஸ்ல வந்துட்டு ரைசோபியம் பாக்டீரியா இருக்கும்னு சொல்லிட்டுலாம். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு அந்த சாயிலுக்குள்ளார லைட்னிங் மூலியமா பிரேக் ஆகி நைட்ரஜன் முதல்ல வந்து ரா நைட்ரஜன் உள்ள விழுகணும். அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் அந்த ரா நைட்ரஜன் அமோனியம் 2 வரும். அமோனியம் பிரேக் பண்ணி நைட்ரேட்டா மாத்தி, அதுக்கப்புறம் திரும்ப நைட்ரைட்டா மாத்தி, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த பிளான்ட் வந்துட்டு அமல்கமேஷன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அசிமிலேஷன் சொல்லிட்டு அந்த நியூட்ரின்ஸ் உள்ளார எடுத்துக்கலாம் நடக்கும். ஸோ அப்ப அந்த கண்டக்டிவிட்டி எவ்வளவு இருக்குன்றத பொறுத்து நீங்க வந்துட்டு அதிகமா நைட்ரோஜன் போடணுமா கம்மியா நைட்ரோஜன் போடணுமான்றது மாறுபடும். அதனாலதான் கண்டக்டிவிட்டியும் பாக்குறாங்க. ஓகே, yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you. And one more thing, I knew I went a little bit faster because that is what was instructed to me, saying that எல்லாம் எக்ஸாம்க்கு ரொம்ப நெருங்கிட்டு இருக்குது, ரொம்ப நேரம் உட்காந்து அவங்களால பார்க்க டைம் வேஸ்ட் பண்ண விரும்ப மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ கொஞ்சம் ஃபாஸ்டா முடிங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. I went a little bit faster, but I hope you would have heard it, understood. Okay, thank you, bye bye. If you have any doubts, you can just put it in the comment, we'll answer back. Okay, bye bye, thank you.
Hi students, welcome to today's discussion. And this is your final discussion, the discussion of free mock test 5. Of course, next week you have examination. So I wish you all a very great successful exam ahead. Okay. So this 1 week, don't study anything new. Okay. Take a rest. Be in the preparation mode, be in the revision mode. Be calm, be cool, be consistent. Okay, so everything will be fine. So in this last discussion, so we will learn some tips. That's it. Which of the following statement here, they are asking which of the following statement not correctly suits. They are not asking correctly, not correctly. Harappa looked upon the earth as fertility goddess. Yes, of course. Because in Harappan terracotta is it's a clay, right? So in Harappa terracotta art, there was a terracotta image, shows out of the embryo of a mother, a tree was coming actually. அம்மாவுடைய தொப்புள் கொடியில இருந்து ஒரு மரம் ஒன்று வளர்ற மாதிரி ஒரு டெரகோட்டா இமேஜ் இருக்கு, கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்காங்க. So this shows that Harappans, they worshipped earth as mother goddess, fertility goddesses. And there was no single evidence of the temples. Yes, there was no single evidence. In Harappa, God is there, God man is there, but temples are not there. Whereas this is not the scenario in Egypt or Mesopotamia. Harappan sculptures clearly explains the nature of the society was matriarchal. Harappa sculptures, you watch, Harappa sculptures clearly explains the nature of the society was matriarchal. No, this is not correct. The Egyptian society is matriarchal, but the Harappan sculptures, it had the sculptures of mother goddess and it had the sculpture of father god, like proto Shiva. The concept of proto Shiva was there. This proto Shiva, we call him as Pasupati. Okay, and this Pasupati was considered to be the god of animals and god of clan, Harappa clan. So it is, we cannot come to a conclusion that it is matriarchal. We can say Harappan people, worshipped mother goddess. We can say Harappan people believed in the concept of, that is, fertility goddess. That and all we can see, but we cannot say that Harappan people are matriarchal. Okay, because proto Shiva, that is the Pasupati posture of Shiva is there. Okay, Linga Yoni worship is there. So we cannot come to a conclusion that it is purely from the sculpture clearly explains, means no, sculpture explains us some other facts also. So this is the right answer. So C is the right answer. Harappan people had the customs of worshipping trees like people. Yes, அரச மரத்தை வழிபட்டாங்க. The same philosophy, the same practice even we follow today. Okay, fine. Chandogya Upanishads. You see, they are asking the correct statement. Upanishads are 108. Upanishads are sitting in front of the Guru and gaining knowledge. There are 108 Upanishads. One of the oldest Upanishads is the Chandayoga Upanishads. This is, of course, the longest Upanishads. Upanishads are none other than it will give an explanation about what the philosophical contents that was present in the yoga. So Upanishad generally it speaks about Vedanta and Siddhanta, which means it speaks about the doctrines and philosophies. Okay, fine. So the Chandoga Upanishad is a significant philosophical work which is a part of Samavedam. Yes. Okay, so people say it is a part of, okay, Samaveda. The Chandogya Upanishads, the ideology of Vasudevaka Kudumbakam is originally mentioned in the Chandogya Upanishads. No, there was a Upanishads called Maha Upanishads. In this Maha Upanishads only, the concept of Vasudevaka Kudumbakam, which means the world is one family, was mentioned. So you need, it is a popular term, Vasudevaka Kudumbakam, Atati Devo Bhava. Okay, that is another one is Muntaka Upanishad, Satyameva Jayate. So this familiar terms you need to learn actually. Okay, fine. So you should know. Okay, Chandogya Upanishads from Samaveda, it's the largest Upanishads. But the Maha Upanishad speaks about Vasu Devaka Kudumbakam. Purida, the world is one family. This Vasudevaka Kudumbakam was enshrined in a parliament. Okay, our Indian parliament, it has enshrined, okay, in the front Vasudevaka Kudumbakam, which means the world is one family. So our option is A. Next, you see, this is a very interesting question from Mahajanapatas. Previously, 2014 and 15, they have asked which of the Mahajanapatas associates with Buddha. But now I have asked in a different version. You see, Mahajanapata, there are 16 Mahajanapatas were all present. And the Mahajanapatas are none other than they were all the great rulers of North India during 600 BC. Because Mahajanapatas, they won't take South into consideration. South is separate. Okay, so during 600 BC, South was ruled by the same Chera, Chola, Pandyas. Whereas the NCRT specifically mentions North. Okay, so we will see actually there are 16 Mahajanapatas. Okay, they are saying Avanti. Okay, Avanti was the place. It's a popular place, Avanti. Okay, it is areas of Ujjain. But many people think that Avanti capital is only Ujjain. No. Okay, Avanti has two capital, Ujjain, and also a next one is called Mahishmati. The southern capital is Mahishmati. The northern capital was called Ujjain. So this is correct. Mallar Nadu. That is Kushinara, Kushinagar. Okay, it is the place where Buddha died, right? So Mallas, okay, they were all Uttar Pradesh region, eastern Uttar Pradesh region. This is correct. Kuru, Indraprastham. Okay, that is also correct. Okay, and Shurashena region. It is the Shurashena was the clan where Lord Krishna born. So Lord Krishna born at Mathura. So Mathura was their capital. Okay, so Shurasenargal, which means it is a clan where Lord Krishna born. So Surasena capital was Mathura. It is not Shravasti. Got it? So it is only three pair actually. You see, which of the following pairs are correct means three pairs were all correct. Okay. So you need to know some capital actually. There are 16 Mahajanapatas. Okay, Gantara, Mahajanapata, Takshasila. Okay, so Gantara, Anga means Champa. So like this, you have to remember some of the important capitals. Okay, next. Which reference to the Buddhism and Jainism? Consider the following statements. Jains were not allowed to touch gold. Yes, this is correct. Up to this is correct. And silver, yes. While the Buddhists were allowed to do so, no, this is also not. This statement is not correct. Jains were not. Both were on. Okay, heterodox religions. Both religion initially says that if anyone want to reach salvation, they have to come out of their family life. They have to join in the Sangha. Okay, so the Sangam is association where Buddhism Sangam says that it is the Sangam where people from the every section of the society can participate. But the only condition is they have to leave their family life and they have to join. So this is basically demand. The basic demand is you have to leave your family life. So you have to leave your family life means the Sangam had some specific do's and don'ts, which means in Buddhist Sangha, you take it, we call them as bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. Okay, so the bhikkhus are none other than bhikkhus. Okay, bhikkhus only later is in Sanskrit they called Buddha bhikshu. So bhikkhus are none other than the one who enrolled in Sangam, Buddhist Sangam. Okay, so bhikkhus and bhikkhuni. Okay, so the bhikkhunis are the one or the female nuns who enrolled in the Sangam. So they were not you know they were not allowed to wear costly dresses, luxurious life. They have to beg and they have to eat for it. So the simple, like a sage they have to, like a hermit, like a sage they have to live, like a rishis they have to live. So this both Buddhism and Jainism, they never allowed wearing gold or silver. So first statement is wrong. Jainism prescribed an ascetic mode of living, while Buddhism emphasizes the middle path. Yeah, Buddhism, the philosophy of Buddhism is Madhya Marga, neutral path, middle path. Whereas Jainism is, it's a religion which just for, okay, Satya, Ashatya, Aparigraha, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya. So Brahmacharya is purely ascetic. Brahmacharya means what? You have to follow, okay, celibacy. That is discipline. So this is only the B is correct, A is not correct. Next one, which of the following are futures of the Indian feudalism? You see, feudalism, whenever feudalism comes, there will be a land owner. He will be the authority of the land. Okay, under him, okay, the king is, of course, the feudal head. Under the king, many feudal lords will be there, his generals or revenue administrators or his ministers or his factions. Below the feudal leader, who will be there? The vassals will be there actually. So this is generally we call him as, that is the king among the relationship between the king and also his vassals. So the king is also a feudal head. His vassals is also, okay, a minor feudal head. Below the vassals, the agriculturist communities will be there or the slaves will be there. So this is a kind of, it's a kind of Indian feudalism, right? So what feudalism says? Equal sharing of prosperity in the society. How come here? Feudalism doesn't stress for equal sharing. The wealth will be accumulated with the feudal head, feudal leader. Okay, so feud means what? Feud is nothing but a land. Okay, so the one who owns the land, where the accumulation of the property goes to him. So it is not generally equal sharing of prosperity. So equal sharing kadayad. Decentralization of power, of course, feudalism goes for decentralization of power. You can hear 7th century onwards, the age of Indian feudalism, where you can hear the words like Samanta, Mahasamanta, Mantal Ishvara. So these words were all the one which typically speaks about decentralization actually. Okay, so fine. Hereditary administrative positions, yes, of course. Okay, hereditary administrative. If I am a feudal head, okay, if I consider my one of my minister, okay, like how after me my son will enroll to the throne, likewise after that minister his son will enroll to the throne. So this feudalism will continue. Okay, so first statement won't come, so one I am striking out, so remaining you can go for 2 and 3. Okay, arrange the following as per the chronological order. So establishment of Vikramashila University. In many of the classes I mentioned, whenever a statement was given like this, just to try to link with the ruler or with the century. Maximum if you're linking with the century, you will get the answer. Vikramashila University, Palas founded. Okay, the ruler was Gopala. Okay, Pala's time period is 8th century, 8th to 10th century. So fine. Takkolam happened in 949 Common Era. Okay, it was exactly the 10th century. The battle is between Rashtrakutas and Cholas. Rashtrakuta and also Chola. And the first battle of Tarain 1191. It is the 12th century. So answer is 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. A is the right answer. Simple chronology. Next. Chandaminar is an Indo-Islamic architecture. Up to this correct. Built during the reign of Alauddin Khilji. No. Okay, there was a ruler called Alauddin of Bamini. Okay, Alauddin of Bamini. There was a Bamini ruler who built this in 15th century, almost 1445 Common Era. Chandaminar was in Maharashtra. Okay, Chandaminar was in Maharashtra, Devagiri. So Qutub Minar was the first statement wrong. Qutub Minar was established in the remembrance of a Sufi saint, but the Sufi saint name was not Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti. Of course, he belonged to 12th century, but the Sufi saint name was Bakhtiyar Kaki. Okay, so his name was Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Okay, so this is the right one. So first statement wrong, second statement wrong. So answer is or correct. They have asked. So answer is what? Okay, D. Okay, neither one nor two. Got it? Fine. Next, Ajayth. Sir, on seeing this one, definitely it's better to skip because it is from current affairs. From current affairs, it was asked actually. Okay, so from current affairs, this was asked. So how many pairs given above are not correct? They have asked actually. Okay, யோசிக்கிறீங்களா கரெக்ட்னாலே தெரியாது இல்ல நாட் கரெக்ட் அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. You just read when you see such word agate bowls, matani pachidi, adinapa pachidi, tenga pachidi, manga pachidi. No, it's a separate thing. Sanji painting and also Kennauri shawl. So they have given some arts and craft and they are asking from the concerned state actually. While seeing this, you need to have some common sense. This particular you don't know others, and you see they have asked not correct actually. The thing is, Ajayth bowls are not from Assam. You can eliminate. Okay, try for elimination because Ajayth, it is a semi-precious stone that was brought from Central Asia during IVC. Gujarat, Kutch region is famous. Kutch region, this was famous. Okay, so this one won't come. Okay, so only one pair is correct. So if you don't know, no issues here. You can leave whenever. If you are sure, you go for arts and craft. If you are not sure, better leave it. That's the best idea I can give. Next, the failure of the Royal Indian Naval Mutiny. Actually, Royal Indian Naval Mutiny itself was not a failure. A statement itself are wrong. Was mainly due to the lack of nationalistic spirit. This is also wrong. Usually, both the substatement itself wrong because Royal Indian Naval Mutiny was a success one. Okay, they mute. Why the Royal Indian Naval Mutiny was the last mutiny? Okay, that happened in the Indian history because since 1857, the Indian army, that is the British Indian army, they didn't revolt against the British, but with the anti-British sentiment, with the liberation of India from British, this liberation feeling, this anti-British sentiment, made the naval ratings to fight against. Okay, their officials understand that this Rin mutiny. This is not a violence fight. They didn't kill any officers, but they stopped working. They are now stopped listening to the words of the superior officers. So this itself, okay, it's a deadlock, okay, for the British administration. So this statement is wrong. One of the major outcome of the first roundtable conference was the Communal Award. No, one of the major outcome of the second roundtable conference. Here I clearly mentioned the year also. First roundtable conference 1931, second is 1932, third is 1933. So second roundtable conference only. Okay, almost everything was set in the second roundtable conference itself. Okay, the British has released the white paper. This white paper mentioned that in the upcoming reforms, a communal electorate they are going to award for the depressed section, and that is the point of friction between Gandhi and also Ambedkar. Okay, so all the story comes in second roundtable conference itself, but not in first one. The first roundtable conference held in 1931, it was postponed. Okay, because first roundtable conference was not attended by Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, was not attended by Mahatma Gandhi or Congress. So the British Prime Minister said it was like a Ram Leela without Ram. ஓகே ராமாயணத்துல ராமரே இல்லைன்னா எப்படிப்பா இருக்கும் அது மாதிரி காந்தி இல்ல காங்கிரஸ் இல்ல யாரும் இல்ல என்ன பண்றது உங்களை வச்சுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு he postponed the first roundtable conference. Okay, and it is how Lord Irwin he had a talk with Gandhi and he asked Gandhi to go for the second roundtable conference. So that is true. So answer is what? Both were all wrong. In the context of religious history of India, Ratna, Shambhava, Amitabha, the word come in Buddhism. Amitabha was a word comes in Buddhism. Amitabha, when it comes, don't think Amitabh Bachchan. It is a word that comes in Buddhism, especially in Mahayana sect of Buddhism. And Amoga Siddhi. All these refers with 5 great Buddhas. In Mahayana Buddhism, Buddha was referred with multiple bodhisattvas, and they say some 5 great Buddhas are all present. They were all Amitabha, Mahasiddhi, Ratna Sambhava. So these are all okay. These are all these options they will give you to collapse you. Okay, so when you know such questions, answer it. If you don't know, no issues. Okay, fine. Next, Annamacharya. The person Annamacharya was previously asked, but the reason why we are asking again and again is you can correlate, you can link some of the interesting points. Annamacharya was considered as the father of Carnatic music. Wrong. No. Purandaradasa, the 17th century Bhakti saint, was considered to be the father of Carnatic music. Purandaradasa has to come. Annamacharya composed Sankirtanas in the praise of Lord Rama. No. He praised Venkateshwara, the form of Vishnu, but not Lord Ram. Annamacharya was the contemporary of Akbar. No. Akbar, he born in 1542 at Amarkot. Annamacharya died before that itself. Annamacharya exclusively he belonged to 15th century. Akbar was born in 16th century. Okay, so all they are asked not correct actually. Okay, everything is not correct. Answer is D. Okay, next. Dokra art was in news. Okay, you can expect this particular Dokra art question in UPSC because it was in news. Okay, it is a kind of lost wax technique. Lost wax techniques are famous in India since the age of Indus Valley. So this Dokra art, it's a metal casted art that uses ancient lost wax technique. Okay, so this lost wax technique, okay, it was used since IVC. Okay, since Indus Valley civilization. Next, Basavanna strongly condemned the rituals and inequality by birth. Very good. Okay, Basavanna, Lingayat, Veerashaivism. He was a Brahmin. Okay, works under a Kalachuri ruler, Bajyala. Okay, so he was from 12th century. So fine, he was the one who condemned rituals and inequality by birth. That is correct. The followers of Basavanna were strict monotheists. Yes, they worship Shiva only in the form of Linga. Basavanna worked as the minister in the court of Rashtrakuta ruler. Wrong. Okay, there is no relationship with Basavanna because Basavanna belonged to 12th century. Rashtrakutas lost by 10th century itself. By 980s and all, Rashtrakutas were all no more. Okay, so this particular fact you have to know. Rashtrakutas comes in 8th to 10th century. But Basavanna, he belongs to 12th century. Okay, so there is no link. So third statement you eliminate, answer is A, 1 and 2. Next one, Paikas were the traditional military community from Odisha. Yes. Okay, Paikas, military community from Odisha. Paika rebellion taken place in 1817 by Pakshi Jagabantu, a leader. Okay. Imposition of salt tax was one of the reasons for Paika rebellion. Yes. Okay, you may think, sir, salt tax will come only in 1930-29. How can you say it is a wrong statement? No. Please remember, India has got 9 coastal states. And in this 9 coastal states, Almost most of the coastal states are eligible to produce salts. But the most volume of salt produced in Gujarat and also in Tamil Nadu. But it doesn't mean that other coastal state cannot produce salt. Other coastal state also produce salt. Likewise, Odisha, the original salt making, okay, so original raw salt making was done by Indians, but when the British took the administration of Odisha, they were not allowing this local salt producers to, to make salt. Okay, so they want to take the monopoly of the salt, so the problem comes actually. So that is the reason. Recently, the Union government declared the Paikar rebellion as the first war of independence. No, the Union government, they didn't declare actually. There was a news going on because some protest was going on by the people. Some protest was take care of by people, that they have to declare Paikar rebellion as the first war of independence, but the Union government, it didn't declare actually. The ASI or the Union government, it didn't declare Paikar rebellion, because before Paikar rebellion itself, many rebellions taken place in this soil. Okay, so the third statement won't come. So answer is A 1 and 2. Okay, so this is what about. And with the reference to the India's freedom struggle, consider the following statements. Vellore mutiny was the first instance of a large scale and violent mutiny by Indian sepoys against East India Company. Yes, the immediate cause of the mutiny was the sepoy dress code, and also the British want to interfere in the sentiments of sepoys, religious sentiment of sepoys. The British were asking the sepoys to wear a uniform. This uniform had the image of Christ. Okay, they were all directly asking the Hindu soldiers not to Hindu, that is, they should not wear religious marks in their forehead. So these kind of some sentiments, religious sentiments and dress code is the problem. Lord William Bentinck was the governor of Madras. You understand? While the Lord, which means Lord William Bentinck was the Governor General of Bengal in 1828. But here they are given Governor of Madras. So what you have to know, during Vellore Sepoy Mutiny, Lord William Bentinck was the Governor of Madras. During this time only, the revolt has taken place. So he successfully curbed the revolt. No issues with it. But this Lord William Bent, later he went back to England. He was once again called to take the charge in 1828 as the Governor General of Bengal. So this is also the correct statement. You should not think like this and you should not go for elimination. So answer is D, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. And next, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he tirelessly worked against untouchability. Yes. Okay. He was a Hindu. He was the Hindu face of Indian National Congress. He was against Iraq. He was against alcoholism. He was against untouchability, caste distinctions. He was instrumental in integrating the tribal cause. You see, a simple mistake. He was instrumental in integrating the tribal cause in both the Keda and Bardoli. No, there peasants' cause has to come. Okay, so it is the peasants' cause, not the tribal's cause actually. Okay, so second statement generally won't come. Okay, many people will think the second also will come, right? A small word called peasants' cause. It's not a tribal cause, because Keda Satyagraha was fought on behalf of the peasants. Okay, it's not on behalf of the tribes, right? So fine. So answer is C, 1 and 3. And that's it, I think. So with reference to the Charter Act of 1853, consider the following statement. It introduced the local representation for the first time in Indian Central Legislative Council. Yes. In Indian Central Legislative Council, the local representation has come. Understand the fact? Before 1857, the Charter Act of 1853 has come. It introduced local representation, which means it introduced the local representation for the first time in the Indian Central Legislative Council. Okay, this Legislative Council itself is going to be a dummy council. Here, the local representation has come. It indicates that the company rule could be terminated at any time as the parliament likes, because during the, you should know, you take the Charter Act, you just remember the Regulating Act of 1773. Okay, it is the first time that the Parliament of the England is taking, they try to regulate the affairs of English East India Company. They never want to make sure that, okay, sorry, they want to make sure that the East India Company should not have its arbitrary power. So, Court of Directors was introduced. Then in Pit India Act of 1784, Board of Directors was introduced. So the Court of Director will take charge of commercial functions. The Board of Control will take charge of military functions. But what happened in 1813? They made a Charter Act of 1813 and they curbed the East India Company administrative functions. They said after 1813, the East India Company will act as administrative company rather than the commercial company. In 1833, further they added that the East India Company, they cannot even trade with. Okay, the trade monopoly of the East India Company was completely curtailed in the 1833. So every 20 years, the Charter Act will come actually. So in 1853, they said that, yeah, okay, there was a central legislative council. In the central legislative council, local representations will be done. Okay, so this is one of the provision. And by 1853 itself, the British Parliament was in the mood of scrapping East India Company. But before they scrap, the revolt 1857 has come. So in the name of the revolt 1857, okay, so the East India Company rule was ended. So answer is what? Both are correct. Okay, and the next one is the Pit India Act of 1784. It led to the establishment of Supreme Court in Calcutta. Wrong. The Regulating Act of 1773 led to the establishment of Supreme Court of Calcutta. This act gave the British government the supreme control over companies' affairs and its administration in India. This act gave the British government the supreme control over companies' affairs, yes, and administration in India, because Board of Directors, Board of Control was established. Okay, so the Pit India, who is Pitt? Pitt was the British Chief Minister. Okay, so answer is here B only. Okay, and 100th question. Which one of the following statement about the Gandhi-Irwin Pact of 1931 is correct? They have asked correct. The government would not release. Gandhi-Irwin Pact of 1931 is correct. The government would not release. The government would release those prisoners who had been non-violent. That is correct. This is wrong. The government would not release. The government would release those prisoners who had indulged in the peaceful picketing of liquor shop. This is also not, should not come. Okay. The Congress did not agree to suspension of the civil disobedience movement. No. The Congress agreed to suspend the civil disobedience movement temporarily. The Congress agreed to take part in the second roundtable conference. This is, of course, one of the most important provisions of Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Okay, but Gandhi-Irwin Pact also have many criticisms over Gandhi, because okay, they say Gandhi had veto power, but Gandhi didn't speak a word for Bhagat Singh. So these issues are all there. So anyhow, my dears, okay, this is the 100th question, and this is the last discussion of this year. So wish you a very great days ahead. Okay, Jayamundu, Bayamillai. Okay, பார்க்கலாம். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.